The Caltex Theatre was aired over the Macquarie Radio Network between 1948 and 1960 every Sunday at 8 p.m. Various producers were involved including Lawrence H. Cecil, E. Mason Wood, Creswick Jenkinson, and Reginald Goldsworthy. Many different script writers were used, Richard Lane K. Keaveney to name just two. Great radio actors were featured including Richard Davies, Lyndall Barber, Sheila Sewell, Alan White, Patricia Kennedy, Keith Eden, Margaret Christensen, Gwen Plum, and many more. Interesting to note that one production per month came from 3AW Melbourne and was directed by Miles Wright. The remaining productions came from 2GB Sydney. The main themes involved are the opening, Fanfare, performed by the Melocrino Orchestra, and Curtain Up, written by Lambert Williamson. Performed by the Queen's Hall Light Orchestra, conducted by Sydney Torch. Text Alex Hare.
Welcome to the Caltex Theatre, a full hour of dramatic entertainment broadcast over a nationwide network of stations throughout Australia. The Caltex Theatre is brought to you by Caltex Oil, marketers of over 1,000 outstanding petroleum products, in association with Caltex dealers and distributors everywhere. Tonight in the Caltex Theatre, you will hear a special adaptation of the unusual Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer motion picture, Forbidden Planet, a fascinating science fiction story set in a world of tomorrow. Starring in Forbidden Planet, you will hear Lionel Stevens. Your producer, Creswick Jenkinson. The Caltex Theatre presents Forbidden Planet, Act 1.
Final decade of the 21st century, men and women in rocket ships landed on the moon. By 2200 AD, they had reached the other planets in our solar system. Almost at once, there followed discovery of hyperdrive, through which the speed of light was attained and later greatly surpassed. So at last, mankind began the conquest and colonization of deep space. United Planets cruiser C-57D was more than a year out from Earth base on a special mission to the planetary system of the great main sequence star, Altair.
When do we get a DC fix, Jerry?
30 seconds, Skipper. Ship on course, sir. We'll reach DC point at 1701. That's less than 3 minutes now.
Chief, we'll drop back below light speed in about 3 minutes. Got your breakable gear stored?
Aye, aye, sir. DC set and punched on, Skipper.
All right, attention. Captain to crew. All hands squared away to decelerate. DC stations. All right. We're down to point 3896 of light speed.
Skipper, there's Altair coming up on the screen, right on the nose.
Okay, Jerry, punch out an orbit on the fourth planet.
Aye, aye, Skipper. Ship in approach, Skipper. Helical vector orientated.
Attention, captain to crew, attention. Our destination, Altair 4, is now visible on the main viewplate. As you recollect from your briefing lectures, this is an Earth-type planet. 20 years ago, the spacecraft Bellerophon landed here with a prospecting party of scientists. Our mission is to search for survivors. That is all. Well, Doc, there it is.
The Lord certainly made some beautiful worlds.
Look at it, Cookie. What do you think about that, huh?
Not one of them new worlds. No beer, no women, no pool parlors, nothing. Nothing to do but throw rocks at tin cans. But we gotta bring our own tin cans.
Attention, captain to crew. We are now entering the atmosphere of Altair 4. No survival suits will be required upon landing. Oxygen content 4.7 richer than Earth standard. Gravity only 0.897. Adjust your equipment accordingly, that's all.
All hands, check equipment.
Jerry, you make out anything down there?
Well, maybe missing some individual structures, but as far as I can see, there are no cities, ports, roads, bridges, dams. There's just no sign of civilization at all.
Sir, we're being radar scanned.
What? Let me see that.
There it is on the electronic equipment.
Yeah, can you zero on it?
No, sir, but it seems to emanate from an area about 20 miles square.
Bosun, pass the alert.
Aye, aye, sir. Combat stations, blaster men, activate your scopes.
Radio contact, sir. There's a voice here.
Human?
Yes, sir. Sounds like it.
Boost it on the speaker.
Spaceship, identify yourself. You are being tracked.
Cut me in, Quinn.
Yes, sir.
United Planets Cruiser C-57D, J.J. Adams commanding. Who are you?
Mobius of the Bellerophon.
Who?
Edward Mobius.
Jerry?
Yep, here it is. His name's on the passenger list. Mobius E., Ph.D., Lit.D., Expedition Philologist.
What do you wish here, cruiser?
We're your relief, sir. We're very glad to find you alive. Dr. Morbius, are you there?
Naturally, I appreciate your concern, but absolutely no assistance of any kind is required.
Oh, the red carpet treatment, huh?
Dr. Morbius, my orders are to survey the situation on Altair 4.
Let me repeat, I'm in no sort of difficulty here. Your best procedure will be to turn back at once, without landing.
Sorry, sir, but those aren't my orders.
Commander, if you set down on this planet, I warn you that I cannot be answerable for the safety of either your ship or your crew.
Dr. Morbius, I require landing coordinates. I'll be obliged if you'll supply me with them.
Very well, and I wash my hands of all responsibility. You have standard charts?
Yes, sir.
You may come in at 83, 17 for north, 148, 21 west.
Thank you. Got that, Jerry?
It's right back there in the desert.
Commander, I strongly urge you to reconsider.
Quinn, cut him off.
Please permit me to recommend...
Yeah. There's something funny going on down there, Skipper.
Well, we'll soon know what it is. Okay, Jerry. I'll take you in.
All clear, sir. No sign of any living being.
Thank you, Bosun.
Look at the color of that sky. Most fantastic greenish yellow.
Fantastic, Doc, but I'll still take blue.
Oh, I don't know. The sky, the desert, the mountains. I think a man could get used to this and grow to love it.
You better check your command mic, Skipper.
Yeah, good idea. Chief.
Sir.
You're in command now, Quinn, back there in the ship. You keep right at those instruments while we look around.
Aye, aye, sir.
Hey, what's this dust coming?
Dust.
A column of dust sweeping towards us over the desert.
Oh, must be a vehicle of some sort.
It looks like we're being met.
Bosun, alert your men.
Aye, aye, sir.
The speed he's traveling. That driver must be a madman.
What driver?
You're right. There's a mechanical creature in charge of it.
It's coming over to us. Take it steady now.
Welcome to Altair 4, gentlemen.
It talks.
I am to transport you to the residence. If you do not speak English, I am at your disposal with 187 other languages, along with their various dialects and subtongues.
No, colloquial English will do fine, thank you. This is no offense, but you are a robot, aren't you?
That is correct, sir. For your convenience, I am monitored to respond to the name Robbie.
Well, it's a nice climate you have here, Robbie. High oxygen content.
I rarely use it myself, sir. With my metallic structure, it promotes rust.
Hey, Doc, is it a male or a female?
Cookie, I really couldn't say.
In my case, sir, the question is totally without meaning. Will you get in the vehicle, gentlemen?
Doc, Jerry, come along with me.
Right.
Quinn, trace this vehicle. If I blink red back to you,
I'll bring the tractor in a hurry, sir.
Right.
Here you are, Skipper. Just room for you.
Passengers will please fasten their seat belts.
Looks after us like a mother.
The residence, gentlemen. If you will go in, you are expected.
A garden blooming in the midst of the desert, if you like. Have you ever seen a more gracious and attractive home? Exotic flowers, shady trees, pools of clear water.
And there in the doorway, if I'm not mistaken, our unwilling host.
I am Morbius.
I'm Commander Adams. This is Lieutenant Farman, my executive. Lieutenant Ostro, our ship's doctor.
How ironic that a simple scholar with no ambition beyond a modest measure of seclusion should, out of a clear sky, find himself besieged by an army of fellow creatures, all grimly determined to be of some service to him.
I'm sorry, sir, if we're not welcome, but we do have our orders.
Of course. And you must stay for lunch, gentlemen. Do forgive the ill manners of an old recluse, if you can. Well, gentlemen, won't you come in?
Well, whatever that lunch was, it was certainly delicious.
Simply some of Robbie's synthetics.
He's your cook, too, huh?
He even manufactures the raw materials. Now, come around here, Robbie. I'll show you how he works. One introduces a sample of human food through this aperture in the upper part of Robbie's body. Down here, there's a small built-in chemical laboratory where he analyzes it. Later, he can produce identical molecules in any shape or quantity.
Well, the housewife's dream.
Plus absolute selfless obedience. But do not attribute feelings to him, gentlemen. Robbie is simply a tool. Tremendously strong, of course. He could quite easily topple this whole house off its foundation.
In the wrong hands, mightn't such a tool become a deadly weapon?
No, Doctor. Not even if I were the mad scientist of the thrillers. Because, you see, there happens to be a built-in safety factor. Commander, may I borrow that formidable-looking sidearm of yours? Thank you. Now, Robbie, point this thing at that fruit tree out there on the terrace. Fire! The tree is disintegrated entirely. You understand this mechanism you're in?
Yes, Morbius. A simple blaster.
All right. Now turn around here. Point it at the commander.
What? Now, wait a minute.
Aim right between the eyes. Fire! You see, he's helpless. His whole electronic being is in a most distressing turmoil. He's locked in a sub-electronic dilemma between my direct orders and his basic inhibitions against harming rational beings. Order cancelled. If I were to allow that distress to continue, he would blow every circuit in his body.
Dr. Morbius, how did you come by such a mechanism?
Oh, I didn't come by him, Doctor. I just tinkered him together during my first 2 months here.
What? You mean you made it?
A useful enough toy, Lieutenant. But nowadays I have no time for such things.
Dr. Morbius, you're a philologist, an expert in words and languages, their origins and meanings. Yet this robot of yours is beyond the combined resources of all Earth's physical science.
My dear Commander, I think you overestimate both Robbie and myself. Gentlemen, let me now show you another bit of parlor magic. If I wave my hand over this beamer...
Hey, we're trapped.
Steel shutters over all the doors and windows.
Oh, forgive me, gentlemen, I did not mean to alarm you. I had Robbie install those steel shutters before I realized how altogether safe I am here. I just have to pass my hand over the beamer again, and they return to their original positions out of sight.
Oh, that's better.
Well, gentlemen, this has been very pleasant. You've seen how very comfortable I am here. No hardships, no special difficulties, and no need at all for military assistance. I dare say you've become impatient to get back to base.
Yes, sir. The moment we've interviewed the other members of the Bellerophon party.
The others? But there are no others, Commander.
The what?
Before the first year was out, they'd all, every man and woman, succumbed to a sort of planetary force here. Some dark, terrible, incomprehensible force. Only my wife and myself were immune.
And how do you account for your immunity, Dr. Morbius?
Well, my wife and I differed from the others in our special love of this new world, in our boundless longing to make a home here, far from the scurry and the strife of mankind. I remember how, when the boat was taken to return to Earth, she and I were utterly heartbroken.
Skipper, there's no record of any wife on the list of the Bellerophon passengers.
Lieutenant, look under biochemistry, Julia Marson. She and I were married to the skipper on the voyage out here.
I thought Robbie had managed some very charming feminine touches. I take it Mrs. Morbius isn't at home today.
My dear wife died a few months after the others. And in her case, it was of natural causes.
Oh. I'm very sorry.
Dr. Morbius, just what were the symptoms of all those other deaths? The unnatural ones, I mean.
The symptoms were very striking, Commander. One by one, in spite of every possible safeguard, my co-workers were torn literally limb from limb.
By what?
By some devilish thing that never once showed itself.
And the Bellerophon?
Vaporized, as the 3 remaining survivors tried to take her off.
And yet in all these 19 years, you personally have never again been bothered by this planetary force?
Only in nightmares of those times. Yet always in my mind, I seem to feel the creature is lurking somewhere close at hand. Sly and irresistible. Only waiting to be re-invoked for murder.
Father?
Halter, I specifically asked you not to join us for lunch.
Oh, but Father, lunch is over. I'm sure you never said a word about not coming in for coffee. Well, did you or did you not?
A girl? Her brother, is she terrific?
Take it easy now, Farman.
Gentlemen, this is my daughter. Commander Adams, Dr. Ostro.
How do you do?
Lieutenant Farman.
Oh, how do you do?
How do you do?
Oh, I've always so terribly wanted to meet a young man, and now 3 of them at once.
That's very kind of you.
You're lovely, Doctor. Of course, the other 2 are unbelievable.
Well, that puts me in my place.
Could this one get you some coffee?
Oh, I'm quite able to get it.
Oh, of course you are, but come over here and I'll get it for you.
Well, Commander, if I can be of any help to you in your preparations for the homeward voyage.
Thank you, sir, but unfortunately circumstances may keep us here for quite a while.
Oh, circumstances?
My orders don't quite seem to cover the Bellerophon fatalities. I'm forced now to contact base for new instructions.
But, Commander, suppose these new instructions require my return to Earth for questioning. 2 years or more away from my work here? No, Tell me just what is involved in your making contact with Earth base.
Well, fundamentally, it's a question of crude power, how to short-circuit the continuum on a 5 or 6 parsec level. Of course, a transmitter of that sort isn't exactly standard equipment.
No.
To build one, we'd have to make use of about 2/3 of the ship's electronic gear, then unship the main drive to juice it. Just to construct a bunker to house the core would take us about 10 days.
Disabled here for 10 days and 10 nights? Tell me, would 2-inch lead shielding do just as well?
Sure, it'd be fine. If we happen to be carrying about 100 square yards of the stuff.
I'll have Robbie run some off for you. We'll have it not later than noon tomorrow.
Well, that's very obliging of you, sir.
Obliging? Look out there, Commander. The graves of the Bellerophon party. I dug those graves with my own hands. Believe me, I have no wish to repeat that experience.
You can put it over there by the core, thank you, Robbie.
Wait a minute. That's solid lead he's carrying.
Common lead would have crushed the vehicle, sir. This is my morning's run of isotope 217. The whole thing hardly comes to 10 tons. Pardon me, sir.
Oh, hello, Alter.
Hello, Lieutenant.
Does your father know you're out here?
He did tell me not to go near the ship, but this isn't very near, is it?
You'd be farther away still if we took a walk.
Well, Robbie might come back.
Oh, he's occupied over there. Cookie's following him around like a shadow. Now, come on, a walk's just what you need on a morning like this.
Hey, Robbie.
Can I be of service, sir?
Never mind about the sir. Come over here where the skipper can't see us.
Yes, sir.
Look, I'm nothing by a cook, so you don't have to be that polite. But I'm a stranger on this so-called planet, and I was just wondering if, if you could tell me where I could get hold of some of the real stuff.
Real stuff?
Just for cooking purposes, you understand. I take a big pride in my duties.
Pardon me, sir. Stuff?
Oh, just about one jolt left in this bottle. This is it. Genuine Asian rocket bourbon. Hey, wait a minute. Hey, I didn't say you could drink it. Why, you low-living contraption, I ought to take a can opener to you.
Quiet, please. I am analyzing. Yes. Relatively simple alcoholic molecules with traces of fuselage. Would 60 gallons be sufficient?
Gallons? Hey, Robbie, I've been from here to there in this galaxy, and I just want you to know you're the most understanding soul I ever met up with.
Tomorrow night, sir, it will be ready. Now, if you will pardon me, Miss Alta will be waiting.
It's nothing personal, Alter. Just a kiss.
Oh, but Lieutenant, why should people want to kiss each other?
Oh, well, it's an old custom. All the really high civilizations go in for it.
Oh, but it's so silly.
Well, it's good for you, though. It stimulates the whole system. As a matter of fact, you can't be in tip-top health without it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I'd only be too happy to show you.
Oh, well, thank you very much, Lieutenant.
Oh, it's no trouble at all.
Is that all there is to it, this kissing?
Well, you've sort of got to stick with it.
Oh. Oh, could we try just once more? Do you mind?
Oh, not at all.
I don't know, Lieutenant. There must be something seriously the matter with me because, well, honestly, I haven't noticed the least bit of stimulation.
Honey, let's do this thing right. This time, let's really give it the works, huh? All right, honey, now just let yourself go and...
Lieutenant Farmer!
Don't say another word, sir. I know there are a lot of pressing duties waiting for me back at the ship.
You're right, Lieutenant.
And rank does have its little privileges, doesn't it, sir?
You can depend on it, Lieutenant, that those privileges won't be stretched into taking your kind of advantages.
What I...
Dismissed!
Yes, sir.
Well, what's the matter? Why did you both act so funny?
Well, don't you understand, Al, that... No? Well, look at yourself. You can't run around like that in front of men. It was bad enough anyway, a girl like you, after a year in a spaceship. But when you're wearing nothing but that play suit, particularly in front of a space wolf like Farman, well, for Pete's sake, go home and put on something that's... Well, put on anything.
What's wrong with my clothes? I designed them myself. Oh, don't you like the way I look? Stop looking at me that way.
Alta, get out of here before I have you run out of the area under guard. Then I'll have to put more guards on the guards. Now get out of here, Alta.
Funny feeling, Joe. I've stood guard over the spaceship before at night, but never with 2 moons in the sky.
Yeah.
Joe.
Yeah?
Do you hear something?
Like what?
Like a sort of big breathing.
No.
That's funny. I did.
No one around. You can see that. No sign of anyone or anything.
Funny. Like a sort of big breathing.
All right, both guards claim to have been at their posts in the way. Yet the ship was entered. The heavy-duty hatch was raised and the latch back. Equipment was sabotaged. All this without anybody seeing or hearing anything.
Same story from everyone, Skipper.
Quinn, I don't care how you do it, but this gear has got to be patched up. Otherwise, we'll never get the transmitter working to contact Earth base. And we'll never be able to take the ship home again when the time comes.
Yeah. No one actually saw or heard anyone last night. Strong says...
Yeah, I know. He thinks he heard something like a big breathing.
And so the curtain falls on Act 1 of tonight's Caltex play, Forbidden Planet. In a moment we commence Act 2. The Caltex Theatre now presents Lionel Stevens in Forbidden Planet, Act 2.
You like my new dress, Commander?
Well,
It's long, you see. Nothing shows through.
Alta, I'm sorry about the way I spoke to you yesterday. I was, sort of bothered.
I had this dress made especially for you. Though I didn't really want to see you. You still look at me in that funny way. I suppose there's just something personally about me that you don't like.
Alta, you always look quite beautiful.
Well, then why don't you kiss me like everybody else does?
Everybody? Hasn't your father taught you anything at all?
Well, he says I'm terribly ignorant. But I've had poetry and mathematics and logic, physics and geology and
biology? Well, of course, that's mainly on the theoretical side.
Oh, well, so far. But what's wrong with theory?
This is what's wrong with it.
That wasn't at all as I felt after the lieutenant kissed me. I feel different altogether. Oh, a wonderful feeling.
I must go back to the house. I have to see your father. This is the situation, Dr. Morbius. Last night, the ship was entered and our Klystron monitor was sabotaged.
And you suspect me? Then the time has come for clarification. Sit down, gentlemen. In times long past, this planet was the home of a mighty and noble race of beings who call themselves the Krell. Ethically as well as technologically, they were a whole million years ahead of mankind. For in unlocking the mysteries of nature, they conquered even their baser selves. In the course of aeons, they abolished sickness, insanity, crime, and all injustice. But then, seemingly upon the threshold of some supreme accomplishment, which was to have crowned their entire history, this all but divine race perished in a single night.
Perished?
Yes, Doctor. In the 2,000 centuries since that unexplained catastrophe, even their cloud-piercing towers of glass and porcelain and adamantine steel have crumbled back into the soil of Altair 4, and nothing, absolutely nothing, remains above the ground. However, under the ground...
Under the ground, Dr. Morbius?
Behind this room there is a tunnel. Now come with me, and I will show you wonders of which the human mind could never conceive. Well, gentlemen, already you've seen a certain amount. You've seen krill metal, with molecules so densely interlocked that your blasters make no kind of impact on it. You've seen mile upon mile of self-servicing, self-renewing machinery, still functioning as perfectly as when it was constructed, more than 2,000 centuries ago.
Utterly incredible.
You've seen their laboratories?
What's this, Dr. Morbius?
On the screen may be projected the total scientific knowledge of the krill, from its primitive beginnings to the day of its annihilation. A sheer bulk surpassing many million earthly libraries. I turn this knob, and as you see, the panel lights up. Hieroglyphics appear.
You're able to read this?
A little. It's my profession. I started on it some 20 years ago. Eventually, I was able to deduce most of their huge logical alphabet, so I began to learn. And the first practical result was that robot of mine, which you gentlemen appear to find so very remarkable. Child's play. Why, I've come here every day now for 2 decades, painfully picking up a few of the least difficult fragments of their knowledge.
A thing like this, it's too big to evaluate.
Dr. Morbius, what's this device?
Oh, one could describe that as a brain booster. There's a headset, electrodes at each end. You can see it was designed for something far bulkier than my human cranium.
And its function?
I'll activate it. Now, watch closely.
A figure's appearing. It's Alta.
Just a 3-dimensional image, Commander.
But it's alive.
Because my daughter is alive in my brain from microsecond to microsecond whilst I manipulate. There. I remove the electrodes from my temples, and the image vanishes. It's something of a strain.
Here, let me try. I put the headset on, I pull this switch. Now, is that right?
Stop.
But I want to...
Commander, you'll never survive. Our elephant skipper tried it. It was instantly fatal to him.
Oh, so you're immune to this too, Dr. Morbius.
In my first attempt at creating a brain image here, the shock rendered me unconscious for a whole day and a whole night.
Yet you came back for a second go at it?
It was a matter of science, Doctor. You can imagine my joy when I discovered that the shock had permanently doubled my intellectual capacity. Otherwise, my researches would have come to nothing, poor as they may have been.
So that's how it happened.
I have a great deal more to show you, gentlemen. Can you spare further time away from your ship?
Yes, I believe so. I've left Lieutenant Farnham in charge. I've ordered him to set up a standard perimeter with a full scale of...
All right. All hands stand clear of the magnetic fence area.
Yeah. Have you tested it yet, Bosun?
Just about to do so, sir.
Toss the branch at it.
There go the sparks, sir.
Fine. That'll keep any unwanted visitor from entering the camp. See the full-scale alerts maintained, Bosun.
Aye, aye, sir.
Lieutenant.
Huh? Oh, what's your trouble, Cookie?
Well, I haven't completed my washing up duties after chow. I request the lieutenant's permission to take a little walk outside the perimeter, sir.
But there's nothing out there.
Oh, sir, I thought it might brighten up the boys' mess a little bit if I could find a few wild radishes or something.
Look, Cookie, I don't know what you're lying about, but you better get back here before the skipper checks in, or we'll both get skinned.
Yes, sir.
Quinn, this is Farman. Kill the power on the fence. All right, Cookie, off you go.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right, Quinn. Put it back on.
Robbie, I ain't never gonna forget this.
bottles, stacks of them.
480 pints, sir, as you requested. Total 60 gallons.
Oh, I gotta try it. Wait a minute, Robbie. Genuine Kansas City bourbon. Smooth, too. Like I said, Robbie, anything I can do. Anytime you're hard up for a couple of gallons of loop oil, you just let me know, huh? Hey, what's up? You see something? Somebody coming this way?
No, sir. Nothing coming this way.
Hey, Lieutenant! Lieutenant, the place is shooting! Lieutenant!
Sure. But there's no one coming through.
Shall I have the current shut down, sir?
No. No, it stopped now. Strange, that. Just shorting out.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, check over the whole system first thing in the morning, boss.
Aye, sir.
Hey, Bosun, that fence, the way it was shorting.
Yes, sir.
Commander, you're too arbitrary. Perhaps I do not choose to be dictated to in my own world.
But Dr. Morbius, a scientific find of this magnitude has got to be taken under United Planet's supervision. No one man can be allowed to monopolize it.
Past 2 hours, I've been expecting you to make exactly such an asinine statement.
Asinine?
Just one moment, Commander. For close on 20 years now, I've been constantly, and I hope dispassionately, considering this very problem. Now I've come to the unalterable conclusion that man is unfit as yet to receive such knowledge, such almost limitless power.
Whereas Morbius, with his artificially expanded intellect, is now ideally suited to administer this power for the whole human race.
Precisely, Doctor. Such portions of the Krell science as I may from time to time deem suitable and safe, I shall dispense to Earth. Other portions I shall withhold. In this, I shall be answerable exclusively to my own conscience and judgment.
Dr. Morbius, in the absence of special instructions, you leave me in a very awkward position.
They're wanting to contact you from the ship.
Adam speaking.
Commander, this is Farman.
Yes, Lieutenant?
Skipper, the chief's been murdered.
Quinn murdered? What?
He was alone in the ship working on the monitor. The rest of us were all outside on guard duty.
But how was it done?
Done? Skipper, his body's plastered all over the communications room.
Right. Leave everything as it is. We're on our way. Come on, Doc.
It started again.
Doc, that's the foot of whatever it was that killed Quinn last night.
I made this plaster model from the footprints we found. 37 inches by 19. And the terrifying thing, Skipper, this thing runs counter to every known law of evolution. It just doesn't fit into normal nature. Anywhere in this galaxy, it's a nightmare.
Commander, are you ready to hold discipline on the cook?
Yes, let's have him.
Come on, Cookie.
Yes, sir.
I'm obliged to remind you, sir, that I gave him permission to go out last night.
Did you give him permission to get falling down drunk, Lieutenant?
Drunk, sir? Me, sir? Well, anyway, why did that robot argue me into drinking all that whiskey in the first place?
You were with the robot last night?
Oh, yes, sir. Him and me, we kind of got to toasting each other's good health. Just for your cordial interplanetary relations, you understand?
And that went on all the time, even while the chief was being killed?
Well, certainly, sir. But you don't think I could have got that stiff in 5 minutes?
All right, dismissed.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, come on, Cookie.
Well, Doc, that just about washes the robot up as a suspect.
And what does that leave us with?
Maybe it leaves us with the same one we've always had.
Morbius. But we were with him.
Maybe you and I ought to drop over to the Krell laboratory and get our brains boosted. Then maybe we could understand.
Sir.
Yes, Lieutenant?
Dr. Morbius is here.
Oh. Well, ask Dr. Morbius to come in.
Yes, sir.
Skipper, What do you suppose he's...
Oh, good day, Dr. Morbius.
Well, Commander, I dare say neither of us really slept last night.
That's a pretty close guess.
I warned you while your ship was still in space. I begged you not to land on the planet. Believe me, Commander, that's only a foretaste. The Bellerophon pattern is being woven all over again.
What?
Remain here, and the next attack upon your party will be more general and more deadly.
Dr. Morbius, how do you know that?
No? Well, I seem to visualize it. If you wish, call it a premonition. That is all I have to say, Commander.
Well, Skipper, what do you make of that?
I'd say it sounded like an ultimatum. We'll be ready. Tonight we'll be prepared for an attack. Bosun, I want a clear field of fire in all directions.
You've got it, sir.
Fine, fine. Lieutenant.
Sir?
You get your trouble squad in hand?
Yes, sir, they're in hand. But they're a little trigger-happy. They're sort of edgy to see whatever's out there tonight.
Yeah. Jerry, look, this might be a big deal coming up.
Could be the biggest, Skip.
Well, I want you to know that I'm sorry if I kind of leaned on you. You've got to understand that
Stop knocking yourself out, Skip. She picked the right man.
Huh? Oh.
Skipper, radar just picked up something.
Where away?
At the head of the gully, heading this way.
Automatic control. Batteries. Fire. Hold fire.
Dead on target, Skipper, but it's still coming.
I'll stop it.
Get back, Lieutenant. Batteries, fire! Batteries, cease fire.
Skipper, it's still coming.
Well, whatever it was, our main battery finally stopped it.
You believe that, Skipper?
No. No, it just went away for some reason. It'll be back. Doc, an invisible being that can't be disintegrated by atomic fission.
No, Skipper, that's a scientific impossibility.
Hypnotic illusions don't tear people apart, and that's what this thing did to our men tonight. Doc, you saw it shape yourself standing right there in those neutron beams.
It must have been made of solid nuclear material, renewing its molecular structure from 1 microsecond to the next.
Bosun, I want the tractor.
Ready, sir.
So now we just pick up the girl and her father whether they like it or not, do we?
Section 86A, evacuate all civilians from disaster area.
Yeah. You left out 2 very important words. Where feasible. Now, if you remember the Bellerophon expedition, their ship was vaporized trying to lift off.
Which makes it a gilt-edged priority that one of us gets into that Krell lab and takes that brain boost. Well, I don't know of any other way we can hope to combat this thing.
You remember what happened when the Bellerophon's commander took that brain boost?
Yes, I remember that, too. Doc, in case we make it into the lab, I'll take first go at the booster. You hear me, Doc?
I hear you, Skip.
Bosun?
Aye, sir.
Leaving you in command while we visit Dr. Morbius. Get the ship operational. Do your best to wait it out for me and the doctor, but the second that fence starts to short again, you lift off.
Right, Skipper.
Let's go, Doc. Alter.
Oh, I'm so glad to see you. So glad. I've had the most awful dream that you...
I'm all right, Alter.
Why are you here? Tell me what's happened.
We were attacked. 3 men died, including Jerry Farman.
Oh, darling.
That's why I came here. Before anything else happens, I have to see to your safety.
How were you attacked? By what?
I don't know. It's nothing human, just some kind of big outline on the disintegrator beams. Alta, you can't explain it.
No.
Anyway, we fought it, and we lost, and I believe it'll come back.
Well, then you must leave now.
Darling, I'm not going without you.
I can't possibly leave Father alone. I just can't.
Then we'll take him with us.
By force? I can't agree to that either.
Alta, you don't realize what's loose on this planet.
But I'm immune, like both my parents.
That's what your father says, but I don't believe it. Nothing could be immune to that thing up
Oh,
there.
darling, darling, please go. Please, if you love me,
But
go.
Arthur, listen to me.
Oh, go, darling.
Doc, can you talk some sense into this? Hey, Doc. Well, where is he? The doc was right here.
Here is the doctor, sir.
Doc.
Lay him on the sofa, Robbie.
Doors open into the tunnel.
That's where Robbie brought him from.
Doc. You took the brain boost?
You ought to see my new mind. Up there in lights on the indicator. It's bigger than Morbius now.
Easy, Doc, easy. Easy.
Listen, Morbius was too close to the problem. The Krell... The Krell had completed their final project. True creation of life.
Come on, Doc, let's have it.
But the Krell forgot one thing.
Yes, what?
Monsters. Monsters from the id.
The id? What's that? Well, talk, Doc. Doc.
Oh, darling.
How romantic.
Father.
A fool, a meddling idiot. As though his ape's brain could contain the secrets of the Krell.
Father. He's dead.
He was warned, and now he's paid. Let him be buried along with the other victims of greed and folly.
Morbius, you've chosen for me. John, I'm ready to go with you.
Hold her. No. Commander, she mustn't do this. She must be prevented.
Morbius, what is the id?
Young man, my daughter is planning a very foolish action. She will be terribly punished.
What is the id?
Id. It's an obsolete term, once used to describe the elementary basis of the subconscious mind.
Monsters from the id, the subconscious mind.
What?
Monsters from the subconscious. That's what the doc meant. Morbius, those machines in there, 8,000 cubic miles of klystron relays. Enough power for a whole population of creative geniuses, operated by remote control, operated by the electromagnetic impulses of individual Krell brains.
But for what purpose?
In return, that machine would instantaneously project solid matter to any point on the planet, in any shape or color they might imagine. For any purpose, Morbius. Creation by mere thought.
Why haven't I seen this all along?
But like you, the Krell forgot one deadly danger. Their own subconscious hate and lust for destruction.
The beast. The mindless primitive. Even the Krell must have evolved from that beginning.
So those mindless beasts of the subconscious had access to a machine that could never be shut down. The secret devil of every soul on the planet, all set free at once to loot and maim and take revenge, Morbius, and kill.
My poor Krell. After 1,000,000 years of shining sanity, they could hardly have understood what power was destroying them. But the one obvious fallacy. The last Krell died some 2,000 centuries ago. But today, as we all know, there's still at large upon this planet a living monster. A monster created by the subconscious mind of someone.
Your mind refuses to face the conclusion.
Morbius.
What?
Something approaching from the southwest, breaking down trees in its path. Quite close.
Father.
The monster. That thing out there, well, it's you. It was your subconscious that created it.
You're insane. You must be. How else would you have led it here, where Alta must see it torn to pieces?
You still think she's immune? She's joined herself to me, body and soul.
Yes. And whatever comes. Forever.
Say it's a lie. Shout. Let it hear you out there. Say you don't love this man.
Not even if I could.
Stop it, Robbie. Don't let it in. Kill it, Robbie.
He can do nothing, Morbius. He knows it's your other self.
Heavens, I'm not a monster.
We're all part monsters in our subconscious. That's why we have laws and religion.
Into the tunnel, quickly.
Morbius, you listen to me. We don't have much time. Your mind was artificially enlarged. Consciously, it still lacked the power to operate the great machines. But your subconscious had been made strong enough.
I won't hear you.
20 years ago, when your comrades voted to return to Earth, you sent your secret id out to murder them. Not quite realizing it, of course, except maybe in your dream.
What man can remember his own dreams?
Well, at least when our ship was approaching from space, you remembered enough to warn us off. But then, when you thought you were threatening your little egomaniac empire, your subconscious sent its id monster out again. More deaths, Morbius. More murder. Even in you, the loving father, there still exists this mindless primitive, more enraged and more inflamed with each new frustration. So now you're whistling up your monster again to punish her for disloyalty and disobedience. And if you don't do something about it soon, Morbius, it's going to be coming right through that door.
Solid drill metal? Impossible.
The machines are going to supply your monster with whatever amount of power it requires to reach us.
Alta, say you don't believe this of me. Tell me you don't. Then it must be true. I must be guilty. My evil self is at that door, and I have no power to stop it.
Father, you can help us. I've known you. Great and noble like the Krell.
Yes. Yes, I can help you. I can. You! Up there! No further! I deny you! I give you up! I deny you! It is finished. All finished.
Father.
Strain, it's been too much.
Commander, throw that switch.
This?
Yes, throw it. In 24 hours, you and Alta must be 100 million miles away out in space. The Krell furnaces. A chain reaction has begun. Can't be reversed. Go. Go quickly.
$98.6 miles. We're clear now, Alta.
That's Altair 4 on the viewplate.
Yes, the bright speck below the star. 15 seconds and it'll all be over. Altair 4 would be destroyed. Your father and my shipmates, all the stored knowledge of the Krell. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. There. The explosion.
Oh, Father.
Alta. About 1 million years from now, the human race will have crawled up to where the Krells stood in their great moment of triumph and tragedy. Your father's name will shine again like a beacon in the galaxy. It'll remind us that we are, after all, not God.
So ends our Caltex play, Forbidden Planet. In a moment we will give you tonight's cast and tell you about next week's presentation in the Caltex Theatre. Ladies and gentlemen, the producer of tonight's Caltex play, Creswick Jenkinson.
Thank you. Forbidden Planet was presented tonight by courtesy of Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer Proprietary Limited. The script was adapted for radio by Richard Lane, and the special sound effects were devised and recorded for this production by Graham Moncrief. In the starring role, you heard...
I played Dr. Morbius.
This was Lionel Stevens. The supporting cast was as follows. Robbie the Robot, Edward Heppel. Dr. Ostro, Leonard Teal. Lieutenant Farman, Richard Meikle. Quinn, Stuart Finch. The cook, John Llewellyn. The bosun, Al Garcia. And as Alta and Commander Adams, you heard Joan Lander and Hart Maguire.
Thank you, Mr. Jenkinson. Next week in the Caltex Theatre, you will hear the saga of a family and of the famous shipping line they founded and struggled to keep afloat during years of depression and war. And in particular, it is the story of Caroline, daughter of old Sir Benjamin Hamilton, who with indomitable spirit and at a cost of personal happiness fought to make the Hamilton Line the premier shipping company of Great Britain. Be listening for this fine drama, Big Ben, in the Caltex Theatre next week. Remember, too, Crispin's Day, another outstanding production shortly to be heard in the Caltex Theatre. Now, this is your compere, Rick Hutton, bidding you good night on behalf of your hosts, Caltex Oil, marketers of Caltex Super Gasoline and Caltex Gasoline, the world-famous RPM 1030 Special Motor Oil, and Marpac Lubrication.
Welcome to the Caltex Theatre, a full hour of dramatic entertainment broadcast over a nationwide network of stations throughout Australia. The Caltex Theatre is brought to you by Caltex Oil, marketers of over 1,000 outstanding petroleum products, in association with Caltex dealers and distributors everywhere. Tonight in the Caltex Theatre, you will hear a new play based on Charles Dickens' famous classic, A Christmas Carol, and written by English Dickens expert Eric Jones Evans. The play is Scrooge the Miser, and stars in the title role John Alden. Your producer, Creswick Jenkinson. The Caltex Theatre presents Scrooge the Miser, Act 1.
Oh, so cold in here, so bitterly cold. What a Christmas present it would be if he'd have a decent fire just this one day of the year. Oh, well.
Merry Christmas, Mr. Scrooge!
Oh, Mr. Scrooge. Oh.
Get out of the way, you brat!
Oh, I'd better get back to work.
Get out of the way! I want no Christmas carols. Now be off with you. Here. Merry Christmas. Humbug. The whole thing's humbug, I say. Well, Bob Cratchit, what's this I see?
Pardon, Mr. Scrooge?
As soon as I leave the office, you put more coals on the fire.
Well, yes, I did, sir, but only a few.
6 new coals I can count. You call that a few?
Well, I'm afraid I was feeling very cold, sir.
Yeah, I can see we shall have to part. You'll ruin me in coals.
Ruin you, sir? It's a very small fire, and on a night like this...
You could have warmed yourself with a candle if you were cold.
Well, I tried to do so, sir, but not being a man of strong imagination, I failed, so I took the liberty of adding the coals.
Liberty? You're always taking liberties. However, I heard the outer door closing. Go and see who's in the outer office.
Yes, sir, at once. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Bob. Is my uncle in?
Yes, Mr. Fred. Come this way, sir. Cold, biting weather, isn't it?
Yes, but seasonable for Christmas.
Your nephew, Mr. Fred, to see you, sir.
Well?
I just called in to wish you a Merry Christmas, Uncle.
Merry Christmas, Bah, humbug.
Oh, Uncle, you don't mean that, I'm sure.
I do. Merry Christmas. What right have you to be merry? Tell me now, what reason have you to be merry? You're poor enough.
Come, Uncle, what reason have you to be dismal? You're rich enough.
Humbug.
Oh, don't be so cross, Uncle.
What else can I be when I live in such a world of fools? Merry Christmas. Out upon Merry Christmas. What's Christmas to you but a time for paying debts with no money and for becoming a year older and not one penny the richer?
But, Uncle...
Hold your tongue, sir. Now, If I had my way, every fool who goes about with Merry Christmas on his lips should be boiled. Yes, boiled with his own pudding and buried with a stake of holly through his heart.
Oh, now really?
Yes, he should. You keep Christmas your way if you must, and leave me to keep it in mine.
Keep it? But that's the trouble. You don't keep it.
Let me leave it alone, then. Much good may Christmas do you. Much good has it ever done you.
There are many things from which I might have derived good, by which I have not profited. Christmas among the rest. But I'm sure I've always thought of Christmas as a good time. A kind of forgiving, charitable, pleasant time. The only time I know of in the year when men and women seem by one consent to open their hearts freely. And therefore, Uncle, though it has never put a scrap of gold or silver in my pocket, I believe it has done me good and will do me good. And so I say, God bless it.
Here, Mr. Fred, here.
Let me hear another sound from you, Cratchit, and you keep your Christmas by losing your situation.
I'm sorry, sir.
And you, my dear nephew, you're such a powerful speaker, aren't you? I wonder you don't go into Parliament.
Oh, please don't be angry with me, Uncle. Now, I'll tell you what to do. Come and dine with us tomorrow.
Answer your dam first.
Why, Uncle, why?
Why did you get married?
Because I fell in love.
Because you fell in love. Good evening.
But you've never come to see and... Well, I want nothing from you. I ask nothing of you. I would just like us to be friends.
Good evening.
Well, I'm sorry, with all my heart, to find you so resolute. We've never had any quarrel to which I've been a party, but... Anyway, I'll keep my Christmas humor to the last. So once more, a Merry Christmas, Uncle.
Get out.
And a Happy New Year.
Out!
Very well. A Merry Christmas to you and your family, Bob.
Thank you, sir. And the same to you and Mrs. Fred.
Thanks. Oh, how's your youngest child, Tiny Tim, getting on?
Oh, growing strong and hearty, thank you, sir. He seems to get better every day.
Oh, that is good news. He'll soon be walking without his crutch, I shouldn't wonder.
Oh, I hope so, sir. I do indeed. I'll see you out, sir. And a very Merry Christmas to you.
Yeah, there's another fool. Cratchit, with 15 shillings a week and a wife and a large family, talking about a Merry Christmas. I'll retire to Bedlam.
Excuse me, sir, but there's a gentleman to see you.
Well, yes. Who is it?
Well, he didn't give his name, sir.
Very well, then show him in.
Yes, sir. This way, sir, if you please.
Good evening, sir. I hope I'm not intruding.
You wish to see me?
Yes. Have I the pleasure of addressing Mr. Scrooge or Mr. Marley?
Scrooge, sir. Mr. Marley's dead. He died, in fact, 7 years ago on this very night.
Indeed. I'm sorry to hear that.
No, you needn't be. He left me his sole executor, his sole residuary legatee, and his sole mourner.
I see. Well, I have no doubt his liberality is well represented by his surviving partner. Allow me to present my credentials, Mr. Scrooge.
Liberality, credentials. I don't understand you, sir.
At this festive season of the year, it is more than usually desirable that we should make some slight provision for the poor and destitute, who suffer greatly at this present time. Many thousands are in want of common necessities. Hundreds of thousands are in want of common comforts.
Are there no prisons?
Of course, far too many prisons, but...
And the union workhouses, are they still in operation?
Unfortunately, yes. I wish I could say they were not.
The treadmill and the poor law are in full vigor, then?
Both very busy, sir.
Good. I was afraid from what you'd said at first that something had occurred to stop them in their useful course. Very glad to hear it. Very glad indeed.
Yes. Well, under the impression that they scarcely furnish Christian cheer of mind or body to the multitude, a few of us are endeavouring to raise a fund to buy the poor some meat and drink and means of warmth. We chose this time because it is a time of all others when want is keenly felt and abundance rejoices. So, sir, what shall I put you down for?
Nothing.
You, wish to be anonymous?
I wish to be left alone. Since you asked me what I wish, that's my answer. I don't make merry myself at Christmas, and I can't afford to make either people merry. I help support the establishments I have mentioned. They cost enough, too, I may tell you. And those who are badly off must go there.
Many can't go there, and many would rather die.
If they'd rather die, they'd better do it and decrease the surplus population. Now, good evening, sir.
Yes, of course, I'm sorry to have taken up your time, Mr. Scrooge. Pray accept my apologies. Good evening. A happy Christmas to you.
Humbug.
Well, if you'll excuse me, Mr. Scrooge, sir, I'll be on my way home now.
Home?
Yes, sir. It's 9 o'clock, just striking.
The church clock's fast. By my watch, it's 5 minutes to 9 p.m. My watch is never wrong. I can only repeat what I told you the other day, Cratchit. I don't pay you 15 shillings to leave before your time.
No, sir. I'm sorry, sir.
I suppose you'll want all day tomorrow off.
If it's convenient, sir.
It is not convenient, and it's not fair. If I were to stop half a crown for it, you'd think yourself ill-used. I'll be bound. And if you don't think me ill-used when I pay a day's wages for no work.
Well, Christmas Day comes only once a year, sir.
A poor excuse for picking a man's pocket every 25th of December. Well, I suppose you must have it. But be here all the earlier the following morning.
Oh, yes, sir, I will. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. By the way, you completed that special invoice?
No, not quite, sir.
Then you'll come here tomorrow morning and finish it.
Tomorrow's Christmas Day?
Yes, Christmas Day. Be here at 8 o'clock sharp.
Yes, sir. Very good, sir. A Merry Christmas to you, Mr. Scrooge.
Shut the door.
Yes, sir.
And the outer door.
Very well, sir.
Idiots, all of them. Raving idiots. Christmas nonsense should be stamped out. Makes me tired, the whole thing. Infernally tired. Comfortable chair by the fire. The world mightn't seem such a silly place. Comfort. A little warmth. These coals should last the night. Yes, a little warmth. And a nice leisurely study of one's bank book. If only those fools celebrated their Christmas in the same way, they'd have something to show for their time. Figures, additions, making thousands and hundreds of thousands. For anyone with some sense, there surely can't be a prettier sight in all the world than the pages of a successful bank book. What's that, I say?
Scrooge. Ebenezer Scrooge. Merciful God. For you.
What do you want with me?
Don't you recognize me, Ebenezer?
You? You're the ghost of my partner, Jacob Marley.
How kind of you not to forget my face, Ebenezer.
The ghost? No, there's no such thing as a ghost. And yet, oh, great heavens.
Yes, Ebenezer. You believe in ghosts?
I must, because you are here. I can see you.
As you say, you can see me.
But why? Why do spirits walk the earth? Why do you come to see me?
It is required of every man that the spirit within him should walk abroad amongst his fellow men, and travel far and wide. If that spirit goes not forth in life, it is condemned to do so after death, doomed to wander through the world and witness what it cannot share, but might have shared on earth, and turn to happiness.
Jacob, you're fettered, chained. Why is that?
I wear the chain I forged in life. I made it link by link and yard by yard. Is its pattern strange to you? A chain of cash boxes, keys, padlocks, and ledgers. Is it strange, Ebenezer? Or would you know the weight and length of the strong coil you bear yourself? It was full and heavy as long as this 7 Christmas Eves ago. Oh, it's a ponderous chain we wear.
Oh, Jacob, I beg you. Jacob, speak comfort to me.
I have none to give. It comes from other regions and is conveyed by other ministers to other kinds of men.
What are you saying?
There is no hope for me. Is that what you mean?
Like me, Ebenezer. You're a captive, bound and double iron. In life, my spirit never walked beyond this counting house, never roved beyond the narrow limits of this money-changing hole. Oh, not to realize that no space of regret can make amends for life's opportunities misused.
But you were always a good man of business, Jacob.
Business? I should have realized mankind was my business. Charity, mercy, forbearance, and benevolence were all my business. Why did I pass my fellow beings in life with eyes turned down? Never raised them to that blessed star which led the wise men to a poor abode. Were there no poor homes to which its light would have conducted me?
Then if you cannot offer comfort to me, Jacob, why have you come to haunt me?
I come to warn you.
Warn?
To tell you that you have yet a chance to escape the fate that has been mine. I come to show you visions of a Christmas past, a Christmas present, and a Christmas yet to come. Behold, Ebenezer. Look closely and tell me what you see.
I see a deserted schoolroom and a lonely boy seated at a desk.
Do you recognize the boy?
Yes, I do. It's myself, my long-forgotten self as I once used to be. Alone, always alone. When the other boys had gone home for their Christmas holidays, I was neglected. How I wish he... It's too late now.
What do you wish?
Seeing myself like this and remembering how I used to feel. There were some children singing carols outside my door tonight. I should have liked to have given them something. That's all.
Ah, yes. And now, look again, Ebenezer. Who comes into your vision now?
That's my sister Fanny, dearest Fanny. The only one who ever really cared for me.
Your sister was always delicate, was she not?
Yes, that's true.
She grew up to womanhood and married, and then, alas, died soon after the birth of her first child. Your nephew, Frederick.
Yes, Frederick. Strange. He called on me tonight to wish me a Merry Christmas.
A Merry Christmas? Out upon Merry Christmas. What is Christmas but a time for paying debts with no money, for becoming a year older and not one penny richer?
You were here then. You heard me.
Shall I repeat everything else you said tonight? Everything else you said every day and night over the last 7 years?
No, don't. Please, don't. I can see now. I was wrong, Jacob. So wrong. No. Please don't recall the other words.
Then look again. There now, you see. Look upon her whom you once loved before avarice and gain displaced her in your heart. Look. And hear her too.
Elsa.
Our parting will mean little to you, Ebenezer. Yes, very little. I know you have never sought in words to be released from our engagement, but I have seen your nature slowly changing from day to day, your nobler ambitions falling off one by one, until at last the greed for wealth alone engrosses you. All that made my love of any worth in your sight has now been displaced by your love of gold. When you first declared your love for me, we were both poor and were content to be so. But now all that is changed. Were you to marry me, a girl whose only fortune is her wealth of love for you, you would regret it bitterly. Oh, yes, you would. And so I give you your freedom. May you be happy, Ebenezer. Very happy in the life you have chosen. Goodbye, Ebenezer. Goodbye.
It's true. All of it. I cast her aside in my lust for money. And what has the money brought me? Nothing. I can see the error of my choice only too well now. Now when it's too late.
What you have seen are shadows of the past, your long-forgotten past. And now you shall behold a Christmas of the present. You shall see how your clerk, Bob Cratchit, spends his Christmas Day. How much do you pay him, Ebenezer?
I pay him 50 shillings a week.
15 shillings. Yes, well, may you look like that. Every Saturday you give that man who serves you so faithfully only 15 shillings with which to provide the bare necessities for his wife, his children, and himself.
I don't suppose that provides much at all. I know it wouldn't provide enough for them.
They've saved their pennies carefully throughout the year to buy a goose for their Christmas dinner tomorrow, Ebenezer. This is the one meal of the year when they eat reasonably well. The rest of the time, well, you should be able to imagine.
Yes, I think I can.
But now, tomorrow's dinner. Look at them, Ebenezer. Look carefully.
I've mashed the potatoes, Mother. They're all ready.
Good boy, Peter. Just give the applesauce a stir. There's a dear.
Yes, all right, Mother.
Mother,
Hmm?
the goose. The goose.
Why, whatever's the matter, Mary?
The goose, Mother. Our goose. It's not 3 houses away.
Did you, darling? And how did you know it was ours?
By the smell, Mother. Nobody else's goose could smell as beautiful as that.
Well, let's hope it tastes as good as it smells.
It'll soon be time to go and fetch it, won't it, Mother?
Yes, dear. Very soon now. But whatever's happened to your father, I wonder? And Tiny Tim, where's he? And Martha. She wasn't as late last Christmas Day by half an hour.
Hello, everyone. Merry Christmas.
Oh, here she is. Here's Martha.
Hurrah, hurrah. Here's Martha. Hello, Mother.
I was just wondering what had happened to you, Martha, dear.
With a deal of work to finish up last night, we had to clear away this morning.
Well, never mind, so long as you're here now. That's the main thing. Here, sit before the fire, dear, and have a warm issue.
Oh, Mother, I just saw Father pass the window. Oh, quickly, Martha, hide. Let him think you're not here.
Yes, hide, Mother. Hide. Under the table. All right.
Oh, you shouldn't tease your father so.
Shh. Here he comes.
Here we are at last. Down you go, Tiny Tim.
Merry Christmas, Father.
And a Merry Christmas right back to you.
I might have known you'd be waiting along the street for your father to carry you home on his shoulders, Tim.
My father's the strongest man in the street. The way he swings me up on his shoulders so easily. Well, he is.
Of course he is, darling. And you come over here by the fire and warm yourself. Oh, take your hat and coat off, Robert. Sit down by the fire. Dinner won't be long.
Yes, it's good to be in the warmth again. Well, where's Martha? Isn't she here?
Oh, Martha's not coming today, Father.
Not coming? On Christmas Day? Oh. Well, Now, what's going on here?
Here I am, Father. It's only a joke.
Oh, Martha, love.
Hello.
Oh, and a good joke it was, too. And I'm so glad to see you, child. Christmas wouldn't be the same without you.
Indeed it would not. Now, who's going to fetch the goose from next door's oven?
Oh, I will, Mother.
And me. I want to fetch it, too.
Come on, then.
May I go, too, Mother?
Of course, Tim, darling.
Take my hand, Timmy. We'll go together. Come on, but look where you're going. Walk carefully.
Yes. I'm all right.
Oh, we're lucky to have such children, indeed we are. I meant to ask you, Robert, how did Tim behave in church early this morning?
Oh, as good as gold and better. Somehow he gets thoughtful sitting by himself so much and thinks the strangest things you ever heard.
Oh?
You know, he told me when we were coming home from the church that he hoped the people saw him there because he's a cripple, and it might be pleasant to them to remember on Christmas Day who made lame beggars walk and blind men see.
Oh, did he really say that?
Yes, my dear. It almost seemed as if... But there, he's growing stronger every day, isn't he? You see that, don't you? Don't you, dear?
Yes. Yes, Bob. I see it. Oh, yes, of course.
Here it is, the most magnificent goose in England. Oh, smell that aroma. Look at it now. That's what I call a goose. Now, is everybody ready?
Oh, are we ready?
Is everybody hungry? Then take your seats, ladies and gentlemen. The feast is about to begin. Hooray!
Why, they've vanished, Jacob. Oh, please show me more.
More, Ebenezer? But what interest have you in them? They're poor, their clothes are patched and darned, their pleasures so simple and humble.
But they're so happy, grateful, so pleased with one another and contented with the good time they're having. Oh, no, I beg you, let me see them once again.
Very well, Ebenezer. You may see them again.
Well, there we are. You all enjoyed the goose. Now you can all enjoy the pudding. I do hope it will be all right.
It looks a wonderful pudding, my dear, wonderful. But before we partake of it, I suggest a toast.
Oh, yes, a toast.
And my toast is a Merry Christmas to us all. God bless us.
God bless us.
God bless us, everyone.
Jacob,
Yes, Ebenezer?
tell me if this lad Tim will live.
If the shadows you saw remain unaltered by the future, the child shall die.
No. Oh, no, Jacob, that mustn't happen.
Why are you so concerned about him? If he has to die, he'd better do it and decrease the surplus population.
No, please, not those words. No, don't say them back to me.
Your own words, were they not? Oh, Ebenezer, if you're a man in heart, not adamant, recall your words before it is too late. Have you discovered what the surplus is and where it is? Will you decide what men shall live, what men shall die? There's still time left for you to reconsider your life. Ebenezer, just one last chance. You must grasp that chance as a drowning man would grasp at a straw, for you're drowning and this remaining chance is no more solid than the straw at present. But you can make it stronger. Oh, yes, you can. Accept the chance and save your soul, Ebenezer. Save your soul.
And so the curtain falls on Act 1 of tonight's Caltex play, Scrooge the Miser. In a moment, we commence Act 2. The Caltex Theatre now presents John Alden in Scrooge the Miser. Act 2.
Well, Ebenezer, what of this one remaining chance you have? Do you accept it?
I want to, Jacob, but I'm still not quite certain how I should go about it. Show me more of the Cratchit family.
I thought you would have seen enough of them by now.
No, not nearly enough.
Then you shall have one more. Look.
Oh, a beautiful pudding, my dear, remarkably beautiful. The greatest success you've achieved in all your years of cooking successful meals, if I may say so.
Why, thank you, Robert.
Yes, indeed. And now, my dears, another toast. I ask you to drink with me to the health of the founder of the feast, Mr. Scrooge.
What? The founder of the feast? Well, I wish I had the founder of the feast here, that's all. I'd give him a piece of my mind he'd feast on, and I hope he'd have a good appetite for it.
Come now, my dear, the children, Christmas Day.
I'm sure it would be Christmas Day, I'm sure, on which one drinks the health of such an odious, hard, unfeeling man as Mr. Scrooge.
Oh, now.
And you should know he is, Robert. Nobody should know it better than you.
My dear, I shouldn't have to remind you, of all people, that Christmas Day is a day of charity.
Very well, then. I'll drink his health for your sake, and the day's, but not for his.
Thank you, my dear. Then, here's long life to Mr. Scrooge, a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to him.
Mr. Scrooge.
Jacob, did you see that? Bob Cratchit toasted me. They drank my health.
So they did, but I also noticed something else, Ebenezer.
What was that?
That the mention of your name sufficed to cast a gloom upon their happiness.
Oh, yes. So it did, yes. But still, Jacob, they drank to me, God bless them. Yes, they wished me well.
True. Remember that. Remember how they wished you well. And now, Ebenezer, I want you to look at something else. A fleeting glimpse into the future, to a Christmas yet to come. You are about to witness shadows of the things that have not happened, but will happen in the time before us.
Oh, I fear these more than any I have seen. But as I know your purpose is to do me good, and as I hope, somehow or other, to live from now on as a better man, I will take courage to look upon them, and do so with a thankful heart.
Very well. On then through the teeming city streets to the exchange, where wealthy merchants congregate to discuss the latest business of the day.
Yes, it's certainly seasonable for Christmas. You should get some skating in the frost hole. Yes, well, I don't skate much, you know. Too much to think of. By the way, I suppose you've heard he's dead. Dead? No. When did it happen? Last night, I believe. Well. You know, I thought he'd never die. Well, what's he done with his money? Lord only knows. Left it to his company, I suppose. He hasn't left it to me. I'm quite sure of that. Well, it'll be a cheap funeral, I expect. Yes, sure to be. But upon my soul, I don't know of anybody who'd want to go to it. I don't suppose you care to help make up a party? No, I wouldn't mind if a decent lunch were provided. Well, I never wear black and I never eat lunch, but I'm willing to go if you are. All right, let's talk it over tomorrow, shall we? By the way, there's one thing you can be certain about. What's that? The devil's got hold of his own at last, eh? Well, till tomorrow then. Goodbye, and a Merry Christmas. Who were they talking about, Jacob? Was it you?
How could that be, since I am of the past? Have you forgotten that I died 7 years ago this very night?
Of course not, but
What you saw then was a vision of the future, of a Christmas yet to come.
But who was this man they spoke of as being dead?
You shall know directly. Look once again into the time that lies ahead, and you may profit by what you see.
Evening, Joe.
Why, rot me if it ain't Mrs. Dilber.
Yes, Joe, it's me. Come to do business with you again.
Have you now? What might your business be?
Well, take a look at these first.
Oh, yes. Stolen goods, eh, Mrs. Dilber?
And what if they are? Everyone has a right to take care of themselves, haven't they? He always did.
And who might he be?
Why, in what died last night, to be sure. In what I cleaned house for.
So you've been robbing the corpse, have you?
Well, why not? He won't be the worse for the loss of a few things like these.
That may be true, Mrs. Dilber, but all the same...
Oh, Ian, now. We ain't going to start picking holes in each other's coats, are we?
I should hope not. But stolen goods is stolen goods.
Oh, it weren't no sin taking them from him, Joe. If he wanted to keep 'em after he was dead, the wicked old so-and-so, why wasn't he like other people in his lifetime?
Wasn't he?
If he had been, he'd had someone to look after him when he was struck with death, instead of lying there gasping out his last all alone by himself. It's a judgment on him, that's what it is. Now, how much you going to give me, Joe?
Let's see. A bunch of business seals, 1 pencil case, 2 old silver teaspoons, a pair of sugar tongs, and a scarf pin. Yeah, well, there you are, Mrs. Dilber. That's what I price him at.
Is that all?
I wouldn't give another sixpence if I was to be boiled for not doing it.
Well, all right then.
What else have you got?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you call these? Bed curtains?
That's right, bed curtains.
You don't mean to say you took 'em down, rings and all, with him lying there?
I do, and why not?
Oh, you were born to make your fortune, Mrs. Dilbert, and you'll certainly do it.
I'd be a fool not to take what I can get from a man such as he was, Joe. Here, mind that candle grease. Don't drip on them there blankets.
His blankets?
Well, he ain't likely to take coal without 'em, I dare say.
It's to be hoped he didn't die of nothing catching, Mrs. Dilbert.
Don't you be afraid of that. I wasn't so fond of his company that I'd hang about his corpse if he had. Oh, yes, and that shirt you're looking at now, you can look at that till you ache and you won't find no holes in it. It's the best he had, and a fine one, too. They'd have wasted it if it hadn't been for me.
What do you call wasting it?
Putting it on him to be buried in. Somebody was fool enough to do it, but I took it off again.
You did what?
Took it off him. If calico ain't good enough for such a purpose, it ain't good enough for anything. Just as becoming to the body, you know, and anyway, he can't look uglier than he did in that one. So, how much you going to give me for the lot, Joe?
That much, Mrs. Dilbert. And it's more than I should. I always give too much to the ladies. It's a weakness of mine. It's the way I ruin myself.
You call this a fortune?
That's your account, Mrs. Dilbert. I think you're so lucky to get it.
But then things are worth double this.
Not as stolen goods, they ain't. And if you were to ask me for another penny, I'd repent of being so liberal and knock off half a crown.
All right then, all right. Needs must when the devil drives, I suppose. Funny, ain't it, to think he frightened everyone away from him when he was alive to profit when he was dead, eh? Well, good night, Joe. Good night. Good night.
That's enough, Jacob. Show me no more. The case of that unhappy man might be my own. My life tends that way now. Yes, I can see it all. The lonely figure stretched upon that bare, uncurtained bed, plundered, bereft of all his worldly goods, unwatched, unwept, uncared for. Oh, Jacob, is there no tenderness in death? Can you not reveal to me one instance in which it has no terror or remorse for those who look upon it?
I can.
Then show me, Jacob, show me.
To do so, we must return once more to the humble home of your clerk, Bob Cratchit. There you shall see how death may be transformed by simple faith to something sweet.
Which death?
Tim?
No, I don't want to see it.
You see it now.
And he took a child and set him in the midst of them.
Oh, Mother. It's nothing, Martha, dear, just a slight cold. I wonder where your father is. It must be near his time to come home.
I don't think I'll read from the book any more tonight. I'd say it was past Father's time to come home. But then I think he's walking home a little slower than he used to these last few evenings.
I've known him to walk with Tim upon his shoulders very fast indeed.
Yes, very fast, Mother.
Yes, that's true.
But he was very light to carry, very light. And your father loved him so. It was no trouble. No trouble at all. Oh, here he is now.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Father.
Oh, Bob, how cold you are. Why, your hands are frozen. Come and get warm by the fire.
Thank you, my dear. Oh, nearly finished your sewing, I see. You have been industrious. But I wish this dress you're sewing were in some other colour, not black. However, it'll be finished long before Sunday, won't it?
Yes. You went today, Robert?
Yes, my dear. I wish you could have gone too. It would have done you good to see how green a place it is. But then you'll see it often enough, I suppose. I promised him I'd walk there on a Sunday.
There, dear. We must all try not to grieve so much.
Yes, you're quite right, of course. There, I'm better now. By the way, you'll never guess who spoke to me today.
Who, Robert?
Mr. Scrooge's nephew.
Oh, did he?
Yes, I met him in the street, and he must have noticed I was looking a little sad, for he stopped to ask what had happened to distress me. When I told him, he said, "I'm sorry to hear of your tragic loss, Mr. Cratchit. Very sorry for you and your good wife." It was nice of him, I thought.
Yes. Yes, very nice.
I didn't know he knew so much about you, my dear.
Hmm? What do you mean, Robert?
That you're such a good wife.
Oh.
Why, everyone knows that, Father.
Well observed, Peter, my boy. I hope they do. And then he said, if I can be of service to you in any way, this is where I live. Be sure and come to me. And he gave me his card.
He seems to be a very kind man.
Oh, yes, very much so. It really seemed as if he's actually known our Tim and felt our loss himself.
It's a pity there aren't more like him about. The world would be a better place if there were.
It would indeed. And, you know, I shouldn't be at all surprised if he were to get our Peter a better situation.
Oh, did you hear that, Peter?
Oh, do you really think so, Father?
I do, my boy. And when that time comes and you have to leave us and go out into the world, I'm sure none of us will forget Timmy or what this first great parting has meant to us.
Never, Father.
Yes, we shall always remember him. Always.
I know you will. And that thought makes me happy. Yes, very happy.
Jacob, this has been... It's a great revelation to me. I see now that gentle grief alone survives the passing of a loved one's soul, and that no terror or remorse can hold domination where there is love. Only good memories remain. Yes, Jacob, this has taught me quite a lesson.
It is to be hoped so, Ebenezer. There now remains but one glimpse into the future before I take my leave.
One more? What are you going to reveal to me this time? The name of that dead man, perhaps?
Exactly. The name of that dead man.
I fear to know it, Jacob. And yet I must. Show me. Merciful heaven. What is this you're showing me? A lonely graveyard overrun by grass and weeds. Is this where he lies buried?
It is. A worthy place for him.
Am I to see the name on the headstone?
You are. Draw closer and look at it.
Before I do, answer me one question, Jacob. Are these the shadows of things that will be, or shadows of things that only may be?
Look, Ebenezer.
Yes, I will. But give me some hope, Jacob. I know men's courses will foreshadow certain ends, to which, if persevered in, they must lead. But if the courses are departed from, the ends will change. Say it is thus with what you show me.
Look, Ebenezer. See the name.
The name there is Ebenezer Scrooge. My own name. No, say it won't be so, Jacob. I don't want to be the man who lay on that bed unwatched, unwept, uncared for. Only give me the one remaining chance to reform. And reform I will. Give me the chance to atone, and atone I will, in the past, the present, and the future. I swear it, Jacob. You hear me? I swear it. Have mercy on me, Jacob. Mercy, mercy, mercy. Why, I must have been asleep. Yes, I was asleep. It was a dream. Well, this is my own chair in which I fell asleep. This is my own room. All a dream. This room's so dark, I must have light. Yes, that's it. Light. There's no fog outside, no mist, only golden sunlight, sweet fresh air, and merry bells. Glorious, glorious. I don't know what's come over me. Oh, save me, I feel as light as a feather, as merry as a schoolboy, as giddy as a drunken man. To think that I fell asleep last night, such a miserable old devil. And now today. What is today? Hi there, you, boy.
You want me, mister?
Tell me, my fine fellow, what's today?
Today? Why, it's Christmas Day, of course.
Christmas Day. Thank God for that. Christmas Day. I haven't missed it after all.
Missed it? What do you mean?
No, I mean more than you would ever understand, young fellow, me lad. Merry Christmas, Scrooge. A Merry Christmas to you, young man. Bless me, a Merry Christmas to all the world. Oh, Jacob, I thank you for your visit. Where would I be if you had not come? To think the time before me is all my own, in which I can make amends.
Are you feeling all right, mister?
All right. As a young man, I feel on top of the world.
Oh, well, that's all right, then. A Merry Christmas to you, mister.
No. Don't go, laddie. Do something for me, will you?
Oh, what is it?
Well, you know the poulterer's shop at the corner?
I should hope so.
Oh, an intelligent boy, a remarkable boy. And you know whether they've sold the prize turkey that was hanging there?
What, the one as big as me?
Oh, what a delightful boy, what a splendid fellow. It's a pleasure to talk to him. Yes, my buck, yes, the one as big as you.
It's still hanging there, as far as I know.
Excellent, then go and buy it.
Get out of it.
No, my dear young man, I'm in earnest. Here. Here's a sovereign for it. Bring it back with you, and I'll give you a shilling. Bring it back in less than 5 minutes, and I'll make it half a crown.
Cool. I'll be off like a shot, sir.
Oh, admirable fellow. But before you go, you see that portly gentleman on the other side of the street?
Yes, sir.
Well, run after him like a good lad and tell him Mr. Scrooge you'd like to have a word with him. Tell him to walk straight in. The doors are all unlocked. Oh, I forgot to lock the confounded things last night. First time in my life.
I'll tell him, sir.
Good lad. Oh, I give that jolly turkey to Bob Cratchit and start my new life by making them all happy. May God be thanked for the reformation that shall now begin for Ebenezer Scrooge. Yes, no, let's see now, my checkbook. And to think that only yesterday, as I walked through the city streets, people would say, you see what that is? That's Ebenezer Scrooge. Wicked old miser. And now, with God's help and strength, they shall say, do you see who that is? That's Ebenezer Scrooge, the benevolent and good, the friend of widows and orphans. My word, they shall indeed. Come in, come straight in.
I understand you wish to see me, sir.
Yes, I do. Come in, my dear sir. Pleasure to see you. Merry Christmas to you.
Why, and a Merry Christmas to you, too, sir.
Thank you, my friend. My apologies for the way I treated you last time you were in this room. If you will accept my apologies. And I also hope that you will have the goodness to accept this check for your worthy fund.
Oh, bless me. My dear Mr. Scrooge. Such a large sum? Are you serious?
If you please, I will not allow you to accept a farthing less. There are a great many back payments included in it, I can assure you.
But, my dear sir, I don't know what to say.
Oh, don't say anything, please. Except that you'll come to see me again sometime.
Well, of course. Yes, most certainly I will.
Then I'm very much obliged to you. I thank you 50 times. God bless you.
May he bless you, Mr. Scrooge, for your great kindness. Goodbye, sir, and a Merry Christmas.
Here we are, sir. Here's a turkey.
Oh, excellent fellow. Oh, magnificent bird. 25 pounds if it's an ounce. Even bigger than I first thought. That deserves nothing less than 5 shillings for you.
5? Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you. Ha-ha! Merry Christmas, sir.
And to you, my lad. Ha-ha! What do I see coming through the window? Oh, nothing other than Bob Cratchit, and 10 minutes late, no less. Oh, the very thing I wanted. Work. Now, I must be at work when he gets in.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm very sorry.
Cratchit.
Yes, sir?
What do you mean by being late?
Well, I'm extremely sorry, Mr. Scrooge. I'm afraid I am a little behind my time.
10 minutes behind, to be exact.
Yes, sir, but it won't occur again, sir, I promise. You see, I was helping my wife prepare the goose for dinner.
The devil you were. Now, I'll tell you what, my friend. I am not going to stand this sort of thing any longer. And therefore, you have to take what's coming to you. Pick up that parcel on the table. Pick it up.
Yes, sir.
It's heavy, eh?
Well, yes, it is, sir, but I don't understand what you mean.
I mean it's yours, Bob. Turkey, that's what it is, a magnificent turkey. And furthermore, I'm going to raise your salary, Bob. What do you think of that?
Mr. Scrooge, you're not well.
Well, I've never felt better in my life. Merry Christmas, Bob, my friend. A merrier Christmas than I've ever given you for many a year. I'll raise your salary, and I'll... Oh, by the way... How's your son, Tim?
Quite well, thank you, sir.
Thank heaven for that. We must all see that he stays that way, and he shall. Oh, yes, he shall. Now, off you go.
Go? Where to, sir?
Home to your family, of course. It's Christmas Day.
What about the invoice, sir?
Oh, to the devil with that. It's Christmas Day, I say so. So off with you, as fast as your legs can carry you.
Mr. Scrooge. Oh, Mr. Scrooge, may I shake your hand, sir?
Thank you, Bob. It's a great honor for me to have you wish to shake my hand. Now, go home and enjoy yourself.
Oh, I will, sir. And, would you come with me? I mean, we'd be so happy to have you share our Christmas dinner with us.
Next year, Bob. No, this year I'm going to my nephew's. If I'm still welcome there.
You will be, sir.
Yes, Freddy's a good lad, yes. I suppose I will be.
Of course. Oh, Mr. Scrooge, I've never been so happy in my life. A Merry Christmas to you, sir.
Thank you, Bob. The same to you with all my heart. And may God bless us, everyone.
So ends our Caltex play, Scrooge the Miser. In a moment, we will give you tonight's cast. Ladies and gentlemen, the producer of tonight's Caltex play, Creswick Jenkinson.
Thank you. Scrooge the Miser is a stage play adapted by Eric Jones Evans from the novel by Charles Dickens, A Christmas Carol. Tonight's radio adaptation was by John Crane. In the starring role, you heard...
I played Ebenezer Scrooge.
This was John Alden. The supporting cast was as follows. Marley, John Gray. Bob Cratchit, Stuart Ginn. The gentleman, Hugh Stewart. Mrs. Dilber, Diana Perriman. Mrs. Cratchit, Neva Carglin. Martha, Jeanette Craig. Fred, Neil Fitzpatrick. Tiny Tim, and the little boy, Nairi Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. Jenkinson. Now this is your compere, Rick Hutton, inviting you to be listening for another outstanding Caltex Theatre presentation next week, and bidding you good night on behalf of your hosts, Caltex Oil, marketers of Caltex Super Gasoline and Caltex Gasoline, the world-famous RPM 1030 Special Motor Oil, and Marfac Lubrication.
Welcome to the Caltex Theatre, a full hour of dramatic entertainment broadcast over a nationwide network of stations throughout Australia. The Caltex Theatre is brought to you by Caltex Oil, marketers of over 1,000 outstanding petroleum products, in association with Caltex dealers and distributors everywhere. But for tonight only, the sponsors of the Caltex Theatre have graciously allowed Hunter Douglas Australia Proprietary Limited to be your hosts, to present a dramatization of the winning novel in the Luxaflex £500 literary quest, which was conducted in association with the Luxaflex Book of the Month radio series. Now it is my pleasure to introduce to you Mr. A.C. Pond, Managing Director of Hunter Douglas Australia Proprietary Limited, marketers of Luxaflex Twiniter Venetians and Luxaflex Aluminium Awnings, the sponsors of the Luxaflex £500 literary quest. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Pond.
Thank you. I'm privileged to have the honour of announcing the winner of the Luxaflex £500 literary quest. You may remember that when our company sponsored the Luxaflex Book of the Month, we launched a literary quest to give encouragement to Australian writers. The response to this competition was most enthusiastic, and we would like to thank everyone who submitted an entry. The standard and the literary quality were particularly high, offering further proof, if this was needed, that Australian writers can hold their own with the best in the world. Now here is the judge's decision. Out of more than 100 novels submitted for the Luxaflex Award, many of considerable merit, the two the judges considered best were The Big Smoke by Darcy Nyland and Return to Tenderness by Norma Hanford. As the three judges were unable to decide between these two entries, the £500 Luxaflex Literary Award is accordingly divided equally between Darcy Nyland and Norma Hanford.
Thank you, Mr. Pond. Mr. Pond will present the cheques, each of £250, to the winning authors towards the end of this programme. Now, here is Mr. Douglas Stewart of the Bulletin, one of the judges of the Luxaflex Literary Award.
Thank you. The judges of the Luxaflex Literary Award were Miss Beatrice Davis of Angus and Robertson, Mr. Ian Mackay, Production Manager of the Macquarie Broadcasting Service, and myself. On their behalf, I would like to extend my congratulations to the competitors for the exceptionally high literary standard that was shown in this competition. Each entry was carefully read, discussed, and finally judged. When we had narrowed the entries down to 3, and then to 2, we reached a deadlock. We found it impossible to decide between them. The Big Smoke, by the well-known Sydney writer Darcy Nyland, and Return to Tenderness by Norma Hanford, whose entry reached us from the Brisbane suburb of Wooloowin, were two novels so entirely different in their settings, their methods, and their final effect, that we found it difficult to evaluate one against the other. And since each novel was equally good in its own field, we had no alternative but to divide the prize between Darcy Nyland and Norma Hanford. This was the unanimous decision of the judges. We feel confident that both novels will be published and will bring further honour to these two brilliant authors. Our congratulations to the winners.
The marketers of Luxaflex Twiniter Venetians and Luxaflex Aluminium Awnings now take pleasure in presenting a dramatization of an excerpt from The Big Smoke by Darcy Nyland.
Come on, you old hay bag, get up. The Big Smoke's starting on its day. Don't you hear it? I'll be alive in this year, base 1909. Get up, my lady. Lying there in your burrow while your bath is running full of perfume water and heaps of pink crystal salts and a maid waiting to dress you. Get up into your boudoir slippers, Madame Olga. Your slippers lined with blue or ostrich stuff. And snugger on your tootsies in the pelt on a sheep's back. Oh, that's the way, my lady. Yeah?
You, Mrs. Chapel?
That's right, love. Half the room, are you?
Yes, I saw the ad.
Well, come right in. Sit down, I'm just having a cuppa. You'll have one, won't you?
Thanks.
Be ready in a minute. This isn't Buckingham Palace.
I'm not used to Buckingham Palace.
Come from Sydney?
Coffs Harbour first. Lismore, Murwillumbah, Coolangatta, Brisbane, then Sydney. I've knocked around a bit.
You've kept your figure with it.
Thanks.
All right, the room's yours. You want it? 2 and 6 a week. What's your name?
Milsey Radford.
Milsey, eh? Mm-hmm. You don't hear that much. Got a job?
No, but I will get one.
Won't have much trouble. Not with a figure like that.
Well, here's your money. I'll take the room.
Well, say it.
I didn't think you might take me.
Good heavens, and why not? Because you've got a touch of the tar brush?
Yes.
Oh, what's wrong with that? You're a human being the way I see it. Listen, dearie. You know the nicest fellow I ever knew was as black as Satan's heart. And you know how black that is.
He was?
Met him on when I was on the board, so... He used to play a gum leaf in a vaudeville show that did the country towns and... Oh... You wouldn't even been a twinkle in your father's eye then. Yeah. Clary here, but that was his name. How dark are you, but a gentleman. Oh, well, the kettle's boiling.
I'm going to like being here, Mrs. Chapel.
Ruby, that's the name, love. Ruby. Nobody's called Mrs. Chapel for years. How could she like it? Bits splitting off all over the ceiling, tight old wallpaper that'd give anyone the willies. Who can blame her if she's out most nights?
The quality of mercy is not strained. It droppeth as the gentle rain from heaven.
What's the quality of mercy got to do with it?
You possess it, Ruby, in abundance.
No, I understand, Milsey. Not that she's got much chance, poor little devil.
Ah, the vanity of the world. Selling her birthright for a mess of pottage.
Ah, break it down, Sheriff. Come on, love, give us a drink.
The uncertain comfort of the great.
That's more like it.
It's a sad thing to see a young person treading the primrose path to destruction.
Joe Halley, listen to me. You and I have got the past to think about. You have a few snorts, and before you know it, you're Henry V or Hamlet. You've got all the good old days sewn up in a bag. I'm on the boards again, kicking up my legs for the old men in the stalls. But not Milsey. She's got no good old days. Don't be too hard on her, Joe.
I like her, Ruby, believe me. But I have concern for her in this jungle of a city.
Yeah. I get worried about her myself. But what can anyone do about it? She's made the way she is, Joe. It's not my place to interfere. Of course you can, love. No work today?
I'll go out to dinner.
Well, I'm going to make some scone. You can work. Oh.
Something wrong?
Old man's at me again.
What old man?
The pain in my chest. Well, that's how I think of it. An old man taking bending exercises, getting caught like a jam jackknife, and then straight like mad. Straight like... Ooh, that's better. Stinking old cow.
I feel awful.
Do you, love?
Ruby, do you think I ought to get a doctor?
Not yet, dearie.
But I do feel terrible, honest. Like I'm going to die. You think maybe I've got a fever or something?
You mean to tell me you don't know what's the matter with you?
No.
To put it straight, Milsey, you're going to have a baby.
Baby? But I don't want it. I don't want it.
Oh, now, listen, it's not going to be so bad. When they're having babies every day.
But didn't you hear what I said? I don't want it. I don't want it.
You'll change your tune. There he is, Milty. There's your son.
Let me see. So that's what he looks like.
His little beauty, this kid. Some father he must have had.
Yes. Some father.
Hey, look at those arms. And what about those legs?
I'll tell you his father, Ruby. Mr. Jack Johnson, that's who.
The boxer?
Mr. Jack Johnson.
That great black devil who slaughtered poor Tommy Burns? Oh, I lost half a quid because of that fella.
That's the father.
My. Well, I wouldn't have believed it.
You think Mr. Jack Johnson will like his son?
Couldn't help it, I don't think. What are you going to call him?
What do you think?
I do the snorter.
And richly merited.
Never want to go through that again.
Ruby, do you believe it?
Believe? Believe what?
What she says about Jack Johnson?
Oh, no, I don't believe it. Even I've only got to look at him. That kid's Australian through and through.
As I thought. His ancestors dead and buried in the shifting wastes of the centre, or under the bottommost rubble of the city.
Poor little devil.
The boy?
No. No, Milsey. She's got a brazen sort of pride that... Oh, well. It's not for me to go inquiring, you do. She's made her mind, Helly. Jack Johnson. That's what she's calling the kid.
And what is she going to do?
Hope she stays with me. She and little Jackie. Take you for a nice ride in the tramp to Centennial Park. See the
Jackie, get out of my way. You think I've got nothing else to do all day? So go running after you? Jackie!
There now. Does Auntie Ruby's boy like the ferry boat?
I Jack Johnson's boy.
That's right, lovey. You're Auntie Ruby's boy, too. See the pretty seagulls? Get out, you little stinkers. Get away from here. Haven't you got any home? Get! Oh, now, Jackie, let me look at you. Oh, a bloody nose.
They pulled a tear in my trousers.
And you tried to fight them. You're too little to fight, don't you know that? You're all grunt and swing.
I fight.
Oh, no, you don't. Not while I'm looking after you. Not while your mother's out at work. You don't go out on the street no more, you hear?
Yes, Auntie Ruby. Where is he?
I think you ought to take it quietly, Milson.
I heard what happened. Where's Jackie?
He's all right. He's in your room.
Jackie?
Hallie, you better go. Leave this to me.
Yes, I do believe you're right. I'll see you later.
Get in there, you hear me? Auntie gave me Roy. It's a pity I didn't kill you running away. You've been told to stay off the streets. Now I'm going to smack you. Now, didn't I tell you?
What makes you so tough about it?
What do you mean?
Is he getting you down as much as that?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, forget it. We won't fight, Milky. Let's have a cup of tea.
Oh, shut up. Get back in your room. I can't stand it. I could murder him. That's what I could do.
Oh, it's all over now. I'll put the kettle on.
Oh, that little...
Oh, cool down. I said it's all over.
Yeah.
Listen, love, he's only a baby. You like him, don't you?
Well, that's a silly question. Of course I do.
He won't go away no more. I'll see that he doesn't. You needn't worry.
Needn't I? Needn't I worry?
You know, we'll see kids to some women are millstone. They want to do things, go to places, live as they want to live. Kids hold them back. They hold them back a lot, I hear.
They do, too.
Oh, I wouldn't know. Lost my birth. I went through hell and never even got a drink of water at the end of it. So I wouldn't know.
Oh, I'd hate to have any more.
Know what's the matter with you?
What?
You're lonely.
I'm not lonely.
Well, I am, and I admit it.
You would never think so.
Maybe not. What have I got? My future's behind me. All the evidence of it. The record, the chronicle. It's all in that old trunk in there.
You mean...
Cutting, scrapbooks, pictures. Life I had in the theatre. I'm lonely for what I used to be, Milsey. You're lonely for what you want to be. Oh, we're not alone, I suppose. The world is full of lonely women. And I can get quite so lonely as a woman. No man, anyway.
No.
Women are always thinking about cause and effect. In fact, a lot of them think of the effect first and then bring about the cause. They worry and they fear. They suffer fear more than any man. It's deeper. Fear of never being wanted, never being loved. Fear of losing children, fear of old age, fear of being alone. Fear of never getting done the things they want to do. And time slipping away.
I've never heard you talk like that before.
Oh, there's always a first time for everything.
You've always been so cheerful, solid. I've always thought that you...
Thought what?
Oh, nothing. It doesn't matter.
Jackie, stop crying now.
Ruby, how are you feeling? Oh, I mean the pain in your chest.
Oh, I never think about it.
If you really got sick...
I'll go and see if Jackie's asleep. I wouldn't want him to lie there without being covered up.
Sit down, Mrs. Chapel.
Doctor, I came here a week ago and you told me to come back.
Yes, exactly. I needed time to examine the plates I'd made.
I came here today to get the truth out of you, and I don't want anything else.
What you think, Mrs. Chapel, is right. I'm sorry.
Sorry? What are you sorry for? People trooping into this room of yours like ants. Do you know one ant from another? Isn't it the same for you with each one that shows his face? How long?
3 months.
All right. 3 months.
Mrs. Chapel, before you go,
You can say you saw me. I used to be in vaudeville on the stage. I knew Wriggle. Me and the fancy gents were like that. I had a name, I did. I had a name.
Mrs. Chapel,
3 months. All right, you big Sydney. Now you got it how you want it. You got no time for the poor dying rich that put your name in headlines and tell your fame around the world for good or bad. You sling off the necklace when it breaks and the top hat when it gets a smut on it. Wear it when it flashes, when it's shiny and new. And after that, you've got no use for it. Sydney. You've got to be top dog, haven't you? You've got to have money jingling in your ears. You show them the jingle of the good time. Like the comedians that bring the crowds pouring in your doors and the singers and the dancing girls. The legs that are nice and pink with flesh. And they're good to you when they run to seed.
Ruby!
What? Ah! Well, Joe Halley.
Are you all right, Ruby?
Bomb me a drink, Joe. I can do this, Snorter. Hasn't beaten me, Joe. I'm a match for it yet.
What hasn't beaten you?
Sydney. The big snoke.
Eh?
Remember old Lizzie Lombardi? She had legs men dreamed of. Let her go round with wrinkled stockings sagging around her ankles. A coating her from the Benevolent Society. Said a fourpenny dark, it's worse firewater. She did a lot for it, Joe. She gave it a fair go, same as I did. Not have given us.
Look, Ruby, if there is something
I put a look
wrong...
at myself in that shop window. Oh, what a shock. Were you ever a girl, I asked myself? How did you ever grow into this? How did you ever fit among the faces of Kate Bishop, Maggie Moore, and Ellis Stewart? What became of you? Which couldn't have changed any better.
Maybe you need another drink.
No. I've got things to do, a lot of things to think about. Thanks, Joe. You've been a pal.
Ruby, wait a moment.
See you, Joe. How do you die when you know about it? You're not supposed to know about it. It's supposed to creep up on you, hit you. You've got no right to be given a time limit. It costs money to die. Makes trouble for a lot of people. Yeah, this is the best. Check yourself off a wharf. Make sure you don't come up. Get some bricks inside your clothes. Make sure you don't come up. Get up with no bother.
Here. What are you up to?
Who are you? Now, why don't you leave me alone?
Ah, now, come on. You're not going to be silly. Where do you live?
Live, did you say? Let me go, will you? Mind your own business.
Not that bad, lady, surely. Well, maybe I can help. Can I?
No.
I'll take you home. Come on now.
This is it. You all right now?
Sure?
Yeah. You want to come in for a cup of tea or something?
No, thanks. What's your name?
Never mind. You forget about me.
Mine's young Frosty. That's what they call me, anyway.
Goes your hair. Keep it like that, Sonny. No dice for you.
I'm a steeplejack. I work way up in the sky with all of Sydney spread out beneath me. It's a fine city.
Yeah. Don't hold it against me, Frosty. Giving scandal to you. Good night.
Good night. Hey, look after yourself.
Is that you, Ruby?
Hallie! What are you doing here?
I was worried about you, the way you went off. Young Jackie is asleep in there.
Where's Milsey?
She's not here. Ruby, there's a note for you.
She's gone, Joe. Not surprised. There's some women kids are a millstone around their neck. She's afraid I'd get really sick and take to my bed. Then she'd have to look after both of us. She wouldn't be able to work then. She wouldn't be able to do the things she wants to do. I'm not surprised she's gone. Let's have a look at Jackie. Looks so trusting, doesn't he, lying there? I don't know. It's funny. You think there's nobody to care, but I suppose there's always someone to need you. Joe, there are things we've got to talk about.
And so the curtain falls on a dramatization of one of the exciting sequences from Darcy Nyland's prize-winning novel, The Big Smoke. In a moment we will present a play based on another joint winner of the Luxaflex £500 literary competition, Norma Hanford's novel, Return to Tenderness. Suddenly, Twine-Nighter patterned Venetians have set an entirely new fashion in home decoration. Now, with these look-of-fabric Venetians, you can create dramatic decor effects in your home, give each room its own distinctive mood. In daughter's bedroom, for example, use elegant gold leaf. For a feature wall, twirling white terrazzo. For a man's room, handsome green linen. With 11 beautiful patterns to choose from to suit any interior decoration scheme, you can achieve beautiful effects in every room of your home. You really must see Luxaflex Twine-Nighter patterned Venetians to appreciate their beauty, their versatility, and the exclusive features that make Twine-Nighter Venetians the world's best window coverings. See the full range of Twine-Nighter Venetians at your favorite retail store tomorrow. Twine-Nighter patterned Venetians, another quality product by Luxaflex. Now the marketers of Twine-Nighter patterned Venetians and Luxaflex aluminium awnings present a dramatization of an excerpt from Return to Tenderness by Norma Hanford.
That's your plane out there, Therese.
Yes, nearly time.
Good luck and good fun wherever you go. Not too much fun, though. I'll be trying my luck with you again in 13 months. My intention is being honourable.
Why 13 months in particular?
My leave's due then.
Oh,
That's if the Malayans don't boot us all out come independence.
Mick, what will happen to Sunyat?
Sunyat? He'll be shot.
Oh. There was something to respect there, Mick.
Of course. He's a bad lot, though. Top terrorist from way back. Fought in the jungle from the time when the Jap was the enemy. Never knew anything else.
Not till he met Pearl. When will it be?
The execution? Pretty soon.
I wish your men had shot him 2 nights ago when they came down from the hills. It would have been kinder.
If we'd known who he was, we probably would have, but not out of kindness.
Mick, do you think he... Does he know about Pearl? I mean that for him it was all such a waste.
But I'm darn sure no one would trouble to tell him. And questions from captured hardcore terrorists aren't exactly encouraged.
I suppose it was a waste.
Hmm? You're a strange girl, Harris. After all that's happened, all you've lost yourself, you fret about Pearl and Sunyat.
Perhaps I'm wondering if it was all a waste for me, too. Mick, do you mind if I go out to the plane now?
Sure, understood.
Goodbye, Mick. Thanks.
Au revoir, Missy Hospital.
Missy Hospital. That almost did it, Nick. From now on, I'm playing Dr. Fair again. As I was a year and more ago when I flew into him there. As now, in full retreat, I'm flying out. Missy Hospital. Right from the first, they call me that. In the swarming villages and the hills on the rubber estate of Bukit Jasmine. Right from the beginning, when Clive Cunningham of Bukit Jasmine was no more than my aloof employer. And you, as district officer, my first real friend. Clive. I won't think of Clive, not yet. Easier to remember Pearl and a high, clear child's voice calling Missy Hospital. Or is it so easy to remember Pearl?
You'll have to drive to the Kampong from your quarters in the rest house, Doctor, and the tracks still aren't safe. Besides, you'll need an interpreter till you get the hang of the language.
But who is Pearl, Mr. McQuaid?
The Chang's only daughter. They're your new boss's house servant. Oh, there she is. Pearl! Pearl!
I'm here, Tuan.
Then come here. Pearl, you know who this lady is?
Yes, Tuan. This is new Missy Hospital.
Well, Missy Hospital speak little Malay. Soon Missy speak good Malay. For now, I want you to go with Missy every day in her car. Tell Kampong women what Missy say. Tell Missy what Kampong women say to her. Understand?
Yes, Tuan. Pearl tell Missy all words, Tuan.
That's a shot. Okay, I'll fix it up with Tuan Cunningham.
Thank you very much, Pearl. I'll be glad of your help.
I help Missy Hospital. I have good.
All right, cut along.
Yes, Tuan.
She's work shy and as devious as a hatful of monkeys, but she'll stick for a few dollars and some of your pretty clothes now and then.
I remember.
She certainly stuck to Frankie. Goes over to Pualaraya practically every weekend.
Frankie?
Clive Cunningham's wife. I suppose you know she cleared off and left him.
So that's why he's so...
Yes, he took it pretty hard. Frankie's a stunner and tremendous fun. Could have knocked me over with a feather when she went off with that so-and-so Chad Weller.
Well, Mr. Cunningham's my boss, and this is none of my business. I really think we'd better go back to discussing Pearl. Pearl's a bloodthirsty little creature, Mr. Cunningham. The intense interest she shows in the core of an inflammation has to be seen to be believed.
Well, perhaps she'd like to train as a nurse, Dr. Fair.
I suggested it. Her response was a bit defeating. I couldn't be convinced she has the call.
No?
No. When she heard it took 4 years, she promptly lost interest. She said by that time she'd be too old to be a taxi girl.
Taxi? By the time those straight-laced Changs agreed to her being a taxi girl, she'd be too old anyway. Well, what's the matter, Doctor?
Nothing. It's just that I don't think I ever heard you laugh before.
Oh, good Lord. Have I been as bad as that? Incidentally, Mick McQuaid tells me you went across to the Kampong alone this morning.
Well, Pearl hadn't come back from her weekend at...
At Pualaraya? I'm well aware that Pearl spends her weekends with my wife. The point is, you mustn't take chances when you go on your rounds.
Well, I understood this area had been declared white, Mr. Cunningham.
You can't be certain. Officially, the terrorists have been driven north, but then there could be isolated groups or individuals up there in the hills who've been cut off and can't get away. They're like monkeys, you know. They can live off the jungle indefinitely. And they're as dangerous as cobras.
Well, I doubt if Pearl would be much protection if I met one.
Even Pearl can use a gun while you drive like blazes. Bear that in mind, Doctor. When you're out on that jungle road, don't stop the car for anyone or anything.
Wise words. But I did stop the car. That very afternoon. What is it? What do you want?
Missy Doctor, you come. Sick people in the jungle.
Where? Where are they?
Inside, not far. You come.
Oh,
You will have no Sosakan. Missy Doctor will come to no harm. This promise.
Well, I should think not. All right, take me to them.
You follow. You come.
The big one could be Sunyat, yes. No, I don't suppose they will hang about, but 3 of them were in a bad way. Good hunting. Sure you're all right, Harry.
Oh, yes, Mick, they didn't molest me.
And where the devil was Pearl when all this happened?
Away for the weekend.
The little... Look, Harris, I don't want to scare you, but this could happen again. I'll have a darn good talk to Pearl when... Want to see Frankie Cunningham?
Hmm?
There she is, right across the road.
Mrs. Cunningham. Well, I shouldn't do this.
Even scientific females are allowed to be normally curious, my sweet. There. Told you she was a stunner, didn't I?
Yes.
That's the boyfriend with her. Chad Waller. Customs patrol officer from here to the port. Wouldn't trust him a yard myself, but he certainly made the grade as Frankie.
But he looks...
Yes. Yes, he is. Waller's Eurasian. As you see, there's nothing furtive about the setup.
Well, there should be. It's a wicked thing to destroy a man's pride. She could at least pretend and save Clive's pride. I wonder why he doesn't.
Doesn't break Waller's vertebrae just below the ears? He practically did when he first found out, before Frankie cleared out and went to live on Poilaraya.
Oh, so close. Well, that's unforgivable, too.
It's Frankie's private island, you know. Clive gave her Poilaraya as a wedding present.
And she... Oh, he must loathe her.
Clive? On the contrary, I think he's still in love with her. That's by way of warning, Harries. Clive's a one-woman man.
I thought I knew better, didn't I, Mick? I was sure as healing Clive's wounds as I healed berry or the ulcers on a rubber tapper's shin. And when Clive decided to divorce Frankie because he wanted to marry me, I was sure then... But it's Pearl I'm remembering. Pearl at 18, with a slender child's body. And the woman in her right for life, restless for the towns, wanting... She knew not what. Pearl came with me on the night when I answered a call to the ramshackle hut in the paddy field. And for the second time, unawares, tended a sick henchman of the terrorist, Sunyat.
Do not cry out. Come. No. Answer.
You let me go.
I Missy Doctor. Waiting hot.
Missy say man very sick. Cannot be left.
Man die?
Perhaps he die. He... Bandit. You bandit. From here. You bandit. Chief bandit.
Long time in the hills. Many moons.
Huh?
Long time since pretty girl.
Pearl came back to the hut alone, but she didn't speak then, and she didn't speak later. Sunyat went back to the jungle and the hills, waiting and watching with his terrible patience for a chance to escape. And then it came. Every week, hidden above the cliffs, Sunyat would watch as the customs officer toured the coast in his high-powered launch, on the watch for smugglers. And Sunyat knew much of the Eurasian customs officer. Knowledge gained from the villagers he bribed and coerced into bringing him food. Sunyat would lure Chad Waller ashore, kill him, steal his launch, and make for Sumatra. The plan worked perfectly, save for one thing.
If you wanted to hijack my boat, you should have waited till I'd filled my petrol tank at Tanjong Asan.
Tank near empty.
You were expecting to escape to Sumatra in this?
For this I kill you.
You wouldn't have had a hope. If this launch was seen heading out to sea, the police would be alongside before it passed the lighthouse.
I chose dark night.
Look, if you'll give yourself
Keep hands in air.
Okay.
You think you win reward for capture bandit, yo? You will not live to enjoy it, customs officer. But it is not necessary for you to die. Rewards too can be paid to help my escape.
Wait a minute.
You bring food and arrange escape, customs officer. When you arrange a sum equal to what I now give you, will be paid. You'll be rich.
Well,
If I am taken, you responsible. You die.
Do I have any choice?
No. Now, you take me to island of Puala'aya.
Pearl, wait. Come here.
Missy Hospital?
Are you... Pearl, are you going to be married?
No, Missy Hospital.
All right, then you've got to let me help you. How long, miss?
4 months. Nearly 5.
Oh, Pearl. Oh, don't look like that. As if you're 100 years old.
I go now, Missy. Ma'am Cunningham.
No, not till you promise me something. Pearl, promise me that when your mother comes back, when she knows, and she'll know in a day or so, that you'll come to me and let me help you. Now, will you promise that?
Yes, Missy. Now, please, you let me go?
Pearl was Chinese, reared by Chinese of the old school. And many a Chinese girl had walked into the waters and never come back. Was that what she planned when she left the house on Puala'aya and climbed the track up the cliffs towards the heavy jungle where no one ever came, where no one would see? No one but Sun
I make you laugh. This good.
Good.
You, my wife?
I am your wife, Sonia.
Mother of my son.
After 4 moons, I will be mother of your son.
My son.
Oh, Sonia, can we trust the customs officer?
No. But the customs officer Pig will do as I tell him. Because he is greedy and because he is afraid.
We will be safe in Sumatra when our son is born.
We will be safe in Sumatra when he is born. Wife, 2 days, 2 nights child not come. Tomorrow at dawn, launch come. Tomorrow is time. Why child not come?
Something wrong. Sonia, I die.
No. Child come tonight.
I die. Go. Bring Missy Hospital.
This madness.
Missy Hospital come. Say she come to help. Promise me she come.
No, Pearl.
Only Missy Hospital can help now. Go or I bring no baby.
This madness. Go to village when tomorrow at dawn. Launch.
Go or I die. Go. Bring Missy Hospital or I die.
Chang, close the shutters. Chang. Oh, I'll do it. Who's there? Who's outside there?
Moreno. Missy hospital. Come now. Tell sick. Ask for your Tokan.
Pearl? You're mad. Pearl's dead, drowned.
Pearl in Jungle Cave in Polar Isle. Maybe come too soon. Pearl very sick. Say she die. Say you come.
Who are you?
Missy come to jungle once time with me. Missy not come to her.
You're the terrorist. You're... Oh!
You come quick. And you not phone. Come now. Bring car. And if God that gate ask questions, God die. Pearl say you promise come help. You promise.
Yes, I'll come. She's lost consciousness. How on earth can we get her down those hills? Is there something to carry her? You, where are you?
I here. Baby, come soon. It is almost done.
The baby won't come naturally now or ever. We must get her to hospital.
Hospital? No, Missy. You bring baby here.
I told you it's impossible. We'd be lucky to save her life or a child's. Oh, could you rig up some sort of sling and get her down on your back? I'll help you steady her.
Hospital, no.
Yes! Or she'll die like the old man and all the others.
12 moons I hide. Let beast starve. And no. I leave her. I go. Don't come. I go.
Leave her like this. And the child. It's your child, isn't it? Isn't it? Yes, Pearl, I'm here. I came as I promised.
Sonia, bring you.
Yes. Sonia brought me.
Husband. Husband.
Oh, she's collapsed. She'll die. Can't you see?
Dawn. Coming.
Did you hear what she called you? She loves you and she trusts you. Listen to me, listen.
When it is light, we go to bottom of hill. We will make sling for my wife. Take care to where your car waits. Then I leave. First, you promise if I have luck in the escape.
Yes, yes.
You will say nothing of me, that I came to you. And no word for 24 hours. It is agreed?
Yes, I agree.
When I am safe, I send for her. You tell her I send for her. In for my son.
But they were waiting for us, Sonia, at the foot of the hill, at the bridge. Waiting by the car, Mick and the police, where they'd waited all night. And they took you easily, Sonia, with Pearl heavy across your back. And the warning shot Mick fired warned Chad Waller, too, snapping the tension of his waiting nerves. Chad cast off and steered the launch out to the open sea in crazy flight, while they took you so easily. Had they told you that Pearl died, Sonia, both Pearl and your son, that it was all such a waste? Or was it a waste? What I saw in your eyes when you looked at Pearl is something I never had, never saw in Clive's eyes, because he belonged to Frankie, just as Clive belongs to Frankie. What he offered me was second best, and I know it now, and I'm flying out. But for you, Sunyat, was Pearl the trap that cost you your life? Or the only real life you ever knew? Your return to the ranks of men, Sunyat. Your return to tenderness.
So ends our Luxaflex program, a spectacular presentation of the 2 prize-winning novels in the Luxaflex £500 literary quest. In a moment we will give you tonight's casts, and Mr. A.C. Pond, Managing Director of Hunter Douglas Australia Proprietary Limited, will present cheques of £250 each to the winning authors. This summer, your home will be definitely smarter on the outside, cooler on the inside, if you install Luxaflex aluminium awnings. Luxaflex aluminium awnings make your home up to 20 degrees cooler inside, and with their unique light channeling, permit a maximum reflection of light. Luxaflex awnings actually let in 30 to 65% more light than any other awnings. Therefore, we suggest you visit your favorite retailers tomorrow and see the full range of Luxaflex aluminium awnings, these wonderful contributions to cooler living. There are many reasons why Luxaflex aluminium awnings are considered to be the best that man can make or that money can buy. Luxaflex aluminium awnings can be used for windows, doorways, patios, carports, and there's a style and color combination to suit every type of home. Whether you prefer the fixed awnings or the roll-up awnings, Luxaflex aluminium awnings will bring extra comfort and beauty to your home. Ladies and gentlemen, the producer of tonight's plays, Cressick Jenkinson.
Thank you. The sequence from The Big Smoke was adapted for radio by Richard Lane, and that from Return to Tenderness was adapted by Kay Keaveney. The leading roles of Ruby Chappell and Herries were both played by our star, Sheila Sewell. In the supporting cast of The Big Smoke, you heard as Milsey Radford, Jeanette Craig; as Joe Halley, Jeffrey King; as Jackie Johnson, Ray Hartley; as the Doctor, Tom Farley; as young Frosty, Brian Anderson. And in the supporting cast of Return to Tenderness, you heard as Pearl, Wynne Nelson; as Sun Yat, Keith Buckley; as Mick McQuaid, Walter Sullivan; as Clive Cunningham, Moray Powell; and as Chad Waller, Gordon Chater.
Thank you, Mr. Jenkinson. Now, here is Mr. Pond to say something about the 2 prize winners in the Luxaflex £500 literary quest.
First of all, I would like to thank and congratulate the 3 judges, Miss Beatrice Davis, Mr. Douglas Stewart, and Mr. Ian Mackay, for the splendid job they have done in judging this literary competition. They spent many weeks in evaluating each entry before they reached their decision, and then, after many discussions and rereading the novels, they finally came to the unanimous decision that the award had to be shared. And I think it is appropriate at this time for me to announce that interest in publishing both prize-winning novels has been expressed in England and America. As Mr. Darcy Nyland's novel was the first to be dramatized in tonight's presentation, I think I should present the first cheque of £250 to the other author who shared the first prize. The winning entry was received under the name of Malcolm Morrison, which is the pen name of Norma Hanford, author of a number of popular books, including some well-loved stories for children. We understand that Mrs. Hanford is at present in England. She has been advised by cable of her success, and her cheque, together with the congratulations and best wishes of Hunter Douglas Australia Proprietary Limited, will be sent to her tomorrow. The other prize winner is the well-known Sydney author, Mr. Darcy Nyland. Unfortunately, Mr. Nyland is unable to be with us on this occasion, but we are very pleased to welcome his wife, who needs no introduction, as Ruth Park, a top-selling novelist in her own right. I would like you, Mrs. Nyland, to accept my congratulations on behalf of your husband, and I hope that this competition will do even more to enhance the splendid reputation that he has already gained in literary circles all over the world. Here is our cheque for £250, and again, my congratulations and best wishes to your husband for future success in his literary career.
Thank you, Mr. Pond. This makes me very proud, especially as The Big Smoke is my favourite Nyland novel to date.
Thank you, Mr. Pond and Mrs. Nyland. Tonight's spectacular presentation of the two novels that shared the first prize in the £500 Luxaflex Literary Award was presented by Hunter Douglas Australia Proprietary Limited, marketers of Luxaflex Twinite Venetian blinds and Luxaflex aluminium awnings. And this presentation was made possible by the courtesy of the sponsors of the Caltex Theatre, who will again bring you a full hour of dramatic entertainment at the same time next week. Now this is your compere, Rick Hutton, bidding you good night. On behalf of your hosts of the evening, Hunter Douglas Australia Proprietary Limited.